Welcome to another episode of Good Dad, Bad Son. I guess y'all can hear me now. It's your favorite cousins, Will and BJ. I'm your voice of reason. That's BJ, the wild card, truth teller. The reason we're going to get canceled or go viral or both. Got a fire show for y'all today, and we appreciate y'all for joining us. What's up, B?
What's up with it?
Man, ready to get it started. We got some topics tonight.
Yeah,
You sent me about 3 pages, bro.
and a bunch of rain.
Man, that was insane. And it's supposed to be like that all weekend.
For real?
Yeah.
I can't get nothing done in the rain, man. I gotta get some work done.
I got a conference this weekend, and I'm checked into a hotel. I was
In
gonna
Alpharetta or something.
yeah,
Right?
I was gonna take a little mini vacation where I ain't really got to work, but shit, the weather gonna be crazy. I guess I'm gonna have to hang out inside the hotel.
You still gonna do it, right?
Oh yeah. I usually be going to the little free conferences, or I pay $1, $200, $2. I pay some money for this one, so I gotta soak it all in.
But it's full.
I'm trying to get out of the classroom, so I think I'm going to transition into like motivational speaking. So it's a little conference trying to put all that together with E.T. and Eric Thomas and them.
Big money.
Yeah, man. So I need all that to come back.
That's dope.
Appreciate it.
Y'all get ready to support Will, man. Big time. Oh yeah, that's dope.
The game tomorrow. First
championship, right?
Yeah, first game 1 of the finals. OKC and the Pacers. Should be some good basketball.
My mom's and I'm happy the Knicks lost.
Why? Because they're gonna tear the city up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They was gonna tear New York up if them boys.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna die.
Damn. Welcome back, Nadia.
I know. I'm so sorry. I think it was something to do with the storm.
That we were
I don't
just
know if
talking
it's
about. The
storm.
rain, crazy.
I'm like, I've never seen. Well, I mean, it's been worse, but it's definitely been raining hard today.
Nadia, a basketball fan. Who you got in this? Who you got tomorrow, and who you got in the series?
I don't even care. I told you how I get.
I like
there.
that.
I don't even care.
I like that.
I don't even care. My baby's not in there. I don't care.
Oh, so you're not a basketball fan. You're just a Steph Curry fan.
Well, I mean, I did okay, let's say 2016 to I want to say 2023. I was really invested into basketball, and then I kind of phased out the past year or so.
Boring.
I'm just I'm okay. It's
Yep.
It's not as entertaining as it used to be.
Nope.
In
Josh said Pacers in 6.
Yo, ain't it the same link, Will? Kurt said he need the new link.
Come on, bro.
It's the same.
It is the exact same link.
Everybody say it's the same link.
I'll double check because it's Kurt. But
What they said, Pacers is 6?
That's what Josh said.
Man, who they playing again? It's Pacers
OKC.
and who? OKC. Pacers is 6. Nah, Josh. I got 100 on OKC.
Me and Drag got a dollar. I got OKC. He got the Pacers.
I got OKC.
How many rings have OKC ever had before?
None.
Shit, engagement. You talking about engagement rings?
Yeah. None.
I was talking about
This their first time in the championship.
No, they played Mike in the championship. When they was in Seattle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, OKC ain't never been nowhere.
Wow. Okay.
They couldn't get past your boy.
Yeah. You know
Steph.
what's crazy? I do not like KD. I hate KD. And I love the thought process. If you can't beat them, join them. Because it was the rhetoric the whole time. And we couldn't win a chip without KD. It wouldn't have worked out.
Who said that? Nah, I never heard
A lot
that.
of people during the
About
time
Golden State?
left,
They had one without him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
Well, yeah, people after he left,
They
they won't be the same, and then they got a chip right after.
They dumb. Whoever said that was dumb.
That's
They was just in their feelings.
When they got KD, they just wanted some time off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They want to work as hard.
Exactly.
In case that boy from Akron showed back up.
Kurt, I don't know how you gonna talk and eat at the same time, bro. You might as well wait, man. Yeah.
That's your favorite uncle right there, y'all.
You said he got to eat first.
Josh said he called it against the Knicks too. So he had the Pacers.
Who that?
He's switching up. He said OKC got it.
Well,
Josh.
no, I thought I was rooting for the Knicks because they was real happy. They was proud. They was proud over there for a minute.
They fired their coach. So it's his fault, I
Really?
I
guess.
don't. Well, he should have played his bench more. He should have played his bench more.
He stuck with what was working. They was getting their ass tore up in the first round.
Nah, he got to play that bench, bro.
You think so?
It's too many. You too deep into the playoffs at this point. Y'all don't play too many games. Them boys, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, like people get burnt out. I think
Bro,
that's
if you ain't played them all season, you can't just call them up for the playoffs.
yeah,
I'm
but
saying
that's
he should have been playing them all season.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, I'm with
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
because that's
The team that wins has at least 8, 9 at least.
Yeah.
right.
That's
Well,
that's why I got OKC. They at least 8 deep.
yeah.
At
I
least.
mean,
Hey,
the
Will.
Golden
Hey,
State
Will.
What up,
had
Kurt?
hurt.
Why you keep putting me backstage, bro?
Ma Duke said she ain't want to see you chewing, bro. You trying to get me in trouble.
At least even when Golden State was winning, they had a good 8.
Well, that's
Solid
what I
8.
was trying to say. That our bench was impeccable, and
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
what made the difference. People rely on like 2 to 3 players, and then they get hurt. It's up
Really, y'all had 10. Y'all really did have 10. Y'all
at
had a
one
good
point.
5. Y'all had a good
One
5
point
on that bench.
for sure.
So, Kurt, how's St. Louis looking? How many days later is it from the tornado?
We just came from up under a tornado watch a minute ago.
Another one? Y'all don't need another one.
This tornado island.
Tornado Ivory?
Tornado Island.
Oh, I thought he already had a name for it. Yeah, y'all don't need another one, man. But how's it looking out there? Them people came and cleaned up and stuff, FEMA or whoever?
No, it's a ghost town. They trying to condemn all that property so they can claim eminent domain and then bring in land developers and, buy the land.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Even though you own something, you never own it.
Yeah, eminent domain is when they just come take it.
Well,
It ain't
basically,
It
what
ain't
they
abandoned or
do,
nothing. That's just when they come
they
take it. So they got
created
a
a
railroad
system.
that need to come through here or a highway or something.
They
They
offer you a
created
couple
a
dollars
system
first, and
of
then
people.
you
And
keep
you
turning
better
them
take
down.
it.
I'm telling you,
You better take it.
they ain't really taking no for an answer.
Or that's them just trying to be nice. Well, we got some topics for y'all, man. We missed Malcolm X's birthday on the 19th of May. I was upset about that.
Happy birthday, Malcolm.
Word up. He would
Lady,
have been 100 years old. He'd have
how
been
do you think
100
he would
years
be
old.
feeling right now if he saw the state of the world? Where you think he'd be at?
He'd be disgusted.
I think so too.
He'd be on his Umar Johnson.
I think he'd be disgusted for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be happy about it, but he always had a way of he wouldn't have been no Umar type. I think Farrakhan does a good job with speaking in a calmly tone, a calm manner.
He had to learn though. At first, he was a firecracker.
They all be firecrackers when they're young. We all firecrackers when we young. You know what I'm
Where
saying?
he started speaking without his emotions behind it. It's just, factual.
But I don't mess with them at all. I don't mess with Farrakhan. And I don't mess with the NOR. I don't rock.
Because of Brother Malcolm, right?
Yeah,
They were solely responsible for his death.
yeah, straight up. We got a man sentenced to 30 years for sexually assaulting 6 of his adopted kids. Y'all know North sent me that. North sent me that 2-3 times. North, that goes with her rather killing the baby than putting it up for adoption. So she sent me that. And
That's kind of light, I think.
30 years,
They gave Michi 30 years for selling cocaine that people wanted to buy.
he should get a life sentence.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
For sexually assaulting 6 of his
6?
adopted kids. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You adopted them for the sole purpose of molesting them.
Right. At
That's
that
basically, yeah.
yeah. But see, this is the argument that I attempted to make earlier. Is I just feel like we forget about the fundamental qualities of having quality of life. I do agree with life being here, but if we can't do our best to protect it, to give it the best education and outcome that we can give it, then I don't think it's a fair fight. I would rather there be less of us, but our overall status of life is at the highest it could be, than to having a bigger population of the black community who are struggling and or mistreated or
So
oppressed.
you know who would love you? Margaret Sanger. The Nazi white woman that made Planned Parenthood. No, all jokes aside, for real, because that was her rationale for making it. It's just that she directed it towards black people. You know what I mean?
Right, most
More than
definitely.
anything. But
Well,
that's really that's what she was doing. It was called like eugenics or something like that.
So
right.
not necessarily strength in numbers. You don't think
No,
like that,
no,
Nadia?
she wanted to get rid of the weak weeds.
Okay. Well, so this is what I wanted to articulate. I think that sometimes, all right, could you argue that I feel like some political leaders or people who do things that are influential, maybe they overall as a person have a negative outlook on what it's supposed to do, but that thing ends up being beneficial overall? Like I think that to be true. Like I feel like there could be some cases I forgot. I wish I would have found something specific, but I just feel like there's probably some political leaders that have done things that were not meant to help anyone or maybe even hinder communities, but the outcome of it was better than not so much. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she's a good person at all, but I think that overall people having the option to have a say so in their life and the decision to have a kid isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I'm just for the decision. I'm not saying that I want babies to die.
Just so we clear.
Exactly. I'm not pro murder. I'm pro choice.
That's where that decision comes from. Her. Because before her it wasn't no decision.
No, she's diabolical.
She
I don't
created
I
it.
don't think that framework of trying to hinder the black community is acceptable at all. I just think that some of the worst political leaders have done good things in the outcome, even when it was intended to harm.
Yeah, vice versa too. Vice versa. I don't see that being a good thing at all. Um, I got matter of fact, I got some videos for you too.
Okay.
Suge Knight says Ray J and Diddy are lovers. Black woman says a white frat boy ghosted her, saw her in Target, didn't even speak to her after they slept together or whatever. Plies called Trump a con artist for commuting Larry Hoover's sentence. Trump also said he would consider pardoning Diddy. A South African woman sentenced to life for selling her 6-year-old daughter. They gave her life for selling her 6-year-old daughter and gave him 30 years
For buying.
for sexually assaulting 6 of his adopted kids.
Right, exactly.
He should have got life too.
Exactly.
I
Why?
agree.
Why Karl Malone was never arrested for having sex with that 13-year-old girl and impregnating that 13-year-old girl?
Gotta have a complaint.
That's what I would like to know.
You gotta have a complaint. Nobody made a complaint.
You gotta have a complaint for statutory rape.
Who brought it to the people attention? They ain't bring it to our
They
attention
knew.
until she was grown.
No, they knew. The family didn't press charges and stuff,
Right.
but they knew.
Yeah.
The state didn't pick it up.
Welcome, Davon, first time listener, cuz.
Welcome in.
Yeah, they got this saying where women kill to benefit themselves and men kill for the greater good.
That's the
I knew
hashtag.
Nadia was gonna like that. I knew Nadia was
Crazy
gonna like
statement.
that. Man, is Diddy going to prison, man? We in week 3, y'all. Is
Yeah.
Diddy going to prison?
Oh, he gone.
Yeah, I think he out of here too.
He gone.
I ain't been following that, but
I just
think he outta
couldn't see how he wouldn't be able to. There's so much evidence against him. So many people who've witnessed it to attest some of the things that he's done. Cassie's testimony is just very solid. It's hard to
Cassie
say.
testimony ain't doing nothing because nobody really rocking with Cassie. Cause
I mean, that's.
she's too much of a participant.
Whoa. I'm rocking with Cassie.
she the
I'm
Cody.
not
She
rocking
too
with
much of a participant. The only thing
Of
Cassie
course,
got going in her favor is that video from the hotel.
Okay, so let me explain something though. I think a lot. This is so interesting. I think we often like to blame the victim a lot of times. And let me not say this: you can participate in something one time, but the minute you say no, it's a no. And there's clear indications that there was times where she did say no, and that wasn't acceptable. Also, to the test of
I
that.
ain't seen not one time where she said no.
Okay. Well, also let me state this: she was under the influence of drug use, and there was conversations about him potentially what is it not roofing her, I don't know what the right term would be, but drugging her in order to get her to cooperate in these said situations. So to you, most people don't act the same under drug influences, so to necessarily just say, oh, she was a willing participant, that's not necessarily true. I don't buy that
She was.
100%.
I say she was because when she was sober, she sure was texting him talking about she can't wait to the next freak off.
Yeah,
She was sober.
she killed the.
This
I agree with you that like
she was sober.
once
this
you
is the
say
whole
no, it's
thing.
no. But some of the time she initiated the shit. Like
She
he
never
be
said
off
no.
doing his own thing, and she like, yo, when the next one?
She
See,
never
Yeah,
said no.
definitely.
what people are losing context with is that they charging him with something other than sexual abuse or, some type of domestic thing. All they bringing to the table is, his sexual inclination. I haven't heard anything other than that where they
Criminal
filed
yet?
a RICO act against him, where he used a business enterprise to do these things. I mean, so I promise you, he may slip out of this. He may get found innocent of all charges because
Oh
they got
no,
him
no.
charged with one thing, but they prosecuting him on something else.
What about Kid Cudi's whatchamacallit? What about his testimony?
There's no proof that Puffy was involved in none of that.
Kid Cudi said, yeah, as far as blowing the car up and stuff, they ain't got no proof. But Kid Cudi said that Cassie played both of them.
Yep.
And
Right.
to be very frank, I'm not completely saying she's innocent in everything, but do I think that she was probably taken advantage of a few times within that experience? Absolutely. I don't want to
But
test anything.
what what does all of that have to do with
Diddy be
what
home
he's
by the end of the
being
year, bro.
prosecuted? What is he being prosecuted for though? It ain't domestic abuse.
Trafficking,
But trafficking what?
humans, sex trafficking.
What, for Diddy?
That's one of the charges.
No, he got a lot of
he got
charges.
like
He
like,
got
double
racketeering alone and RICO and all that to kill him.
Don't even need no
But
proof for that.
Yeah.
all of the evidence is only pointed to sexual abuse or domestic abuse. I haven't heard any evidence in regards to racketeering.
Don't those comments not exciting. They only feeding us what we're gonna talk about. Bree says she made her decision. Davon says she was given instructions. Joshua
Yo,
says
for real.
Diddy going to be found not guilty. It's not illegal to be a freak. Monduke said she participated more times than she said no.
She orchestrated it, man. She was part of the orchestration. They ain't nobody, that lawyer killing Cassie and the other chick. Her best friend. All the females is getting killed up there because nobody, after the time frame of them saying that they was raped and all this other stuff, weeks after that, months after that, years after that, they wishing them happy birthday. They telling them they love them, they miss them. No.
I seen that too, Bree. Puffy ex assistant told her that she should leave Puffy. She said, Jay-Z's taken. Who else would I date?
Yeah.
I seen that.
She definitely said that. She definitely said that.
They
I
still bringing
still
up
haven't
Jay-Z
heard any
name, though, don't
evidence
they?
about racketeering. That's what he's being charged with.
What he being charged with?
Racketeering. He got
Racketeering,
about 30
yeah.
damn charges.
He got a lot of charges. Yeah. We got some more topics too. Does Black America really want independence? We're going to take a look into the Negro Project. That's what it was. I'm waiting for Nadia to come back. It was called the Negro Project, created by Margaret Sanger and the civil rights leaders who supported her, like W.E.B. Du Bois and them. I never rocked with W.E.B. Du Bois once I found out he was hating on Marcus Garvey. He was
educated Negro.
He was part of the reason why Marcus Garvey got deported. Them high yellow niggas, them high yellow educated niggas, they terrible. The Godfather of Harlem series, y'all watch that?
Yeah, I seen a few episodes.
You watch that, Kurt?
Nah.
The Godfather of Harlem. Was Bumpy Johnson really a drug dealer or not? I'm having a problem with this.
They
man,
trying to erase history.
I'm saying he wasn't.
Why would you say that?
Because all his homeboys are saying he wasn't.
Did his wife say he wasn't?
She never, did she say he was? I don't hear nothing about no wife or nothing, but I know all his partners, his crimies, the dudes that grew up in that era, everybody that lived in Harlem that grew up in that era that knew Bumpy Johnson say he didn't mess with drugs.
What Frank Lucas
I'm trying
said?
not to curse. Frank Lucas was his underling. Frank Lucas ain't saying.
Did was he?
I don't remember him saying anything about selling drugs for Bumpy. He drove for Bumpy.
Right.
So he wasn't into no drugs.
Until after he stopped working for him?
Bumpy was when Bumpy died, that's when they took off. That's when Nicky Barnes took off. That's when Frank Lucas took off. Frank Lucas wasn't selling drugs.
Right.
That was selling.
So it was after.
Nicky and them was selling drugs, but they wasn't selling drugs on Bumpy's side of Harlem.
Gotcha.
I can't remember if it was the east or the west side, but Bumpy had a side of Harlem,
wherever the Italians wasn't.
a community of Harlem where it wasn't no heroin there. He ain't play that.
So where his money came from? Number running?
He owned a bunch of property. He owned check cashing companies, buildings.
Okay.
He owned Harlem.
Okay.
That was his, for real.
Yeah.
He owned that joint from number running. Remember, there was no lottery.
Right.
Number running in Harlem is what started the lottery. See, y'all keep saying, the white people burnt down Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all this stuff. Of course, they always gonna find a way to destroy something we got going on. They do that to this day, even with the truck industry, even with the CNA stuff that Will got going on. They're gonna find a way. It's just up to you to find a way around that.
Right.
That's just life. You know what I mean?
We've been in survival mode since
Forever. As long as we live here, we're gonna be in that mode. Right. Period.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. I guess maybe I am foolish, but I hope not. I just try to believe that there's a way we can get out of survival mode, but that's by really trying not to accept the standard of that they're going to tear us down. Like, yes, they will attempt to, but paying more attention to that rather than being like, oh, this is just a part of it by nature.
What will the black community look like out of survival mode? What does that look like? What does that consist of?
I feel like that would mean that, like, honestly, I think out of survival mode means that we all are able to be on the same accord. To be honest, I think that's the biggest failure that we have as a collective, is that we can't all agree at times about things that I feel like should be implicitly simple. Like, I was having a conversation. I know we talked about this like a few weeks back, or a week or so back, about like the N-word, and it's like usage, and if we feel comfortable with that or whatever. And I guess my whole thing truly is that because we can't like, there's some black people that allow their friends to say it outside of their community, and then there's some people that are entirely against it. And because we can't collectively come as a whole and say this is just unacceptable, and we allow it in certain settings and we don't allow it in certain settings, it's like, it's hard for me to be upset with other people saying it when I know there's somebody else out there that's also black that's condoning that behavior. So it's like, I don't, it's certain stuff like that. Like, that's just one example.
Yeah, I hear you. In regards to that example, it don't even matter. Whatever you do is what you do. Whatever that black person do, I don't agree with it. I ain't had that many white friends, but I don't have white friends that's gonna just be saying nigga around me. But I do understand white people that grown up in a black household. You got white people that grown up in the hood.
Right.
You got white boys I see that a lot in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they be off the chain. But matter of fact, the first white boy I came in contact with that was out here wilding, robbing, and shooting and all that, his name was White Boy.
Yep. Classic nickname.
Yeah. Had known he was the real deal.
Okay.
Nah, he was the real deal. For real. And he looked like a real, just regular white boy, man. Nothing special about him. but he was off the chain, bro. He grew up and it was nigga, 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 and nobody said nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
But
that's yeah.
he in that. Then you got the music.
Yep. Yep.
If these people, if rappers and performers have 30,000 and 28,000 of them are white people reciting their words and nigga this, nigga that, and that's what they eating off of. Who am I to say that person is wrong? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, I think it's more so this thing right here, right? I think it's about the boundaries that we are setting to other communities. Because at the end of the day, that's something that I just talked to my friend about as well. I was like, you know what? I do see the influence of how having certain music, especially black hip hop, and how white people really cling to that. They really enjoy it, but it's also like that also gives them the opportunity to feel more comfortable to use that derogatory term. And I guess my whole thing is like, okay, cool. Well, at your shows, if you know that your audience is predominantly not like, like there's artists that go overseas, like they go tour in Europe or they go tour in Asia. I'm like, bro, even if you do have a song with that word, maybe you should pause it out of all because it just shouldn't be like a comforting thing where you're saying it and they feel comfortable to say it with you.
For what though? What does that change?
It changes the comfortability that other people have to say something when you yourself are setting the tone that I'm not going to say it, so you shouldn't say it either. Like
No,
we're setting that boundary with you.
right. So what does let's say in Nadia's world, we got it to that point where no white person is saying the N word.
I'm
Black people
sorry.
still killing each other
Okay,
at an
but
alarming rate.
we're
That
still
that don't
touching.
stop. That don't benefit the black community. That's where I'm at with it. I don't care about who says what. I'm only concerned about the black community coming up. That's it.
Right. Well, so here's the thing too, right? This is again where we see the world a little differently. Because for me personally, the way that I look at it is, while yes, I do think there's a lot of things that we can be doing to, like, it's the difference between Malcolm X and I believe Martin Luther King, right? Malcolm X is very big on the inclusiveness of black people doing what they could to stand their ground against the oppression that they were facing at the time. MLK also, though, and believed that it was important to, I guess, incorporate white people and other people of color in order to make the challenges that were happening or the systemic problems that we see change. My whole thing is, yeah, we have things that we need to fix as black people in our community, and I will never go against that grain. But also, too, a lot of the reason that we're treated that way comes from the oppression that we face from other communities. And if they respect us more, then some of that oppression that we experience might begin to dwindle down versus us just experience saying that we all just have to fix it by ourselves, because that's not how it started.
Yeah. A word, but whatever white people do or however they look at us,
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that. I'm not concerned about them. I'm only concerned about the black community, the black
Mm-hmm.
race. Um, when they a word ain't gonna fix the problem the problem we're having.
Will
What
said,
they're
"Thank you
saying.
for trying not to curse, BJ. God bless you."
Yeah, that word, them saying the N word ain't gonna. Also, Martin Luther King admitted that he was wrong towards the end.
I think
He admitted that he was wrong, and I feel like the whole civil rights movement.
I may have led us into a burning building.
Yup, the whole civil rights movement was a blow to the black community. The whole integration thing hurt the black community more than it helped us. There's a reason why the black Muslims in America are still thriving. And when I say thriving, they still own land. They're self sufficient. They don't need anything,
right.
and they're not involved with the government as the church is. They
Mm-hmm.
do their own thing. Black people should have kept doing their own thing. We got to do our own thing. We too busy trying to integrate and mix and welcome other races and other cultures and all that.
Period. What he
We too busy
said.
doing that. Like we gotta go back to how we had it, man. Fresh out of slavery, it was just all about us helping each other, doing for each other. The reason why they respect the Asians and the Jews and everybody else more than us, because they stick together and they focus on each other. The Jews don't mess with nobody. The Asians, you gonna see Chinatown in every state. There's a Chinatown. You know what I mean? There's a Jewtown. There's a Little Mexico. You know what I mean?
Little Italy, all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got to give props to the Caribbean blacks that come over here because they had their little Hades and little African towns, cities, communities, and stuff. It's just the Black Americans that can't get it right because, like you said, we are divided. That's the problem. We gotta forget. I don't care about your politics. I don't care about your religion. All I care about are these black babies, man.
I care about
Dawu said they will never respect us if we don't respect us.
They not.
Nadia agrees.
How you expect someone to respect us when, for one, we killing every day. We killing each other every day. I
but they
wouldn't
kill each other every
respect.
day.
I wouldn't
That's
respect nobody that's killing their own. I wouldn't.
I would argue though that that's the thing though. It's like letting the media and the influence of, I guess, political discourse change your mind about us as people. Because in reality, we don't kill ourselves more than they kill each other. But the truth of the matter is that is what the media shows. It shows the worst representation of our black people in our black communities. Now, this is not me saying that those things don't happen and that there aren't communities that are really affected by gun violence and other things. But a lot of these issues that we see with black men, or young black people in general, is that they have a lack of resources, which makes it more often than not, someone doesn't want to commit crimes because they just want to commit crimes, but more so of it's easier to get money a certain way than it is another way. And I feel like also too, when we talk about, as much as I like to blame, I want to put accountability on the black community for the I guess the lack of being together as a whole. I also see how the implications of slavery play a part in that, because they did like the Willie Lynch theory, for instance. That is like the biggest factor of why I think we're so dispersed amongst one another. 100%. I think that they did everything they could to pit us against each other, old and young, light and dark. Like all of these things influence the way that we look at each other, and it makes it harder for us to collaborate as a whole. And that's not just from us as people, but rather, again, what happens because of oppressive communities coming together to oppress black people. White people, I'm sorry, unfortunately.
You saying the media, and this is what they show. I'm not going by the media. I'm going by what I know. I'm not going by the media. I'm going by what I know. I'm
Right.
going by. I interact with people every day. My people all day.
Right.
I speak to people all day, every day. I know what's going on in these hoods. I know what's going on in these hoods across America.
Right.
And gang banging is the number one enemy of the black race right now. Gang banging. We could talk all that slavery stuff, and all that slavery was damn near 200 years ago. You know what I mean? We can't keep bringing slavery up 160 years later. We still bringing slavery up when we had golden eras. Black people had golden eras after slavery that wasn't educated, that was being, right after being lynched and killed for being educated, for learning how to read. They came right out of that and built communities all over. 160 years later, we still talking about slavery and Jim Crow and all that. When we got all these doctors and lawyers and judges that came out the 1940s and the 1950s, the 60s and all that, we still talking about slavery? Nah, man, we got to talk about the real. And the real is these young boys, the music, the rap music first, the drill music. We have music called drill music that was birthed in about 2013 or 14, something like that. It's drill music. They're making music to come outside and kill the dude down the street and rap, and go back to the studio and rap about it. This has been going on for 12 years. Chief Keef and them started it. This has been a big thing in Chicago forever, but Chief Keef is nationwide now. We got New York drill, California drill. We got these young boys. Forget the news and white people. They're going live, shooting at, coming outside, shooting at people that they looking for. They're live doing it. They're not hiding it. That's how they get they shit up. They go live and show you, I'm about to kill him.
That goes the same as media. the media is influencing our children. It influenced the children in regards to homosexuality, and that dates back into the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Then they came up with the twerk, all on the, now the women out here thinking that that's cute, and half the men is spending all their money up to watch some woman half naked throw her butt up in the air. Then they come up with the mumble rap and the drill music, and it's filtering into every household in America through social media, through the different medias that they see. That's what's influencing. It's a subliminal suggestion. They
Yeah,
thinking
but
that's cool.
I say
They thinking it's cool
it's
to hold big stacks of money up to their ear like they rich, and they really ain't got $100.
who started that?
Okay,
I
so
think it's all through the media. How media have, because I can remember when they didn't even have a lot of media. That was back when they started AOL. It was one of the biggest.
I'm talking about this holding the stacks up. I'm being specific about the things you said that these kids are doing. Who started that? Who started twerking? Who started that? Who started holding the money up? Who started all these things you just saying that on media? Who started it?
I can't really pinpoint who started it.
Black
I
people.
do when Luke was
We
having.
started it.
Come on, who?
Black people started it.
Well,
It
they
was
didn't have
you didn't see
control.
white people walking around with stacks of money to their ear and to their head and on their arm. You didn't see white women wasn't on TV twerking. We could attribute that to Luke, right? Uncle Luke, right?
What I'm saying is the music when they started going live, and we don't control the media. You know what I'm saying? They just utilize the media. I can remember when Facebook first started up, and you used to have a landline. If somebody called in, it'll knock you offline. Once that uh, international superhighway, information highway came into existence, it corrupted just about all of America. Maybe not the white people in that regard, but all of a sudden we start seeing school shootings. We start seeing women acting, irregular. We start seeing these niggas that's about, they got a ton of cocaine. They put it on Facebook. Now you got the police kicking your house in. It's just that media. The media has been an influence on society since when it first started back in the 60s and 70s. Through television, the media is what's convincing these people. Like my kids wasn't even allowed a cell phone until they was like 17 years old, 18 years old. They didn't know nothing about no uh, FaceTiming and all of that.
I mean
Okay,
that
Davon said, it's you 60-year-old people. Don't be blaming it on these kids. Freaknik was in the 90s.
Exactly.
if
But it was
if
on the media. I mean, they
let's
didn't
take the
have
media
it.
out of it. Let's take the media out of
that's
it
the
because
biggest thing.
let's take the media out of it. Right before the media, Kurt, y'all was gang
Okay.
banging before the media. Black people was gang banging before the media. Black people had this thing where they copy, they mimic all the bullshit from other races. We take it. That gangster shit wasn't with us. We took that from the Italians. The gang banging and all that we took from the Irish and the Italians also. They came over here with all that mob and gang banging and all that. We adopted that from them all the way up. Cocaine, that's the white man's drug. Heroin, white man stuff. A lot of our people got addicted to that from the Vietnam War. A lot of our black men got addicted to that from the Vietnam War. But you're making it seem like when you blame in media, I could see if it was other races or other people doing it, and they just brainwashing us from this media or something that they're doing, like China or somebody did something magical. It is us. We created gangster rap. Ice Cube and them created gangster rap. Before gangster rap, it was Public Enemy in them talking about I'm black and I'm proud and all that. Queen Latifah.
Conscious
Queen
rap,
Latifah.
yeah.
Don't call me a bitch. It was conscious rap. When gangster rap came into play, it took over. It's been gangster rap ever since. Ain't no more conscious rap. You might have
because
Kendrick and J. Cole and them
J.
sprinkled
Cole.
around. Ain't no more conscious rap.
they will get more spin time on the radio. That type of
Okay, we
music.
know why. We know why. I ain't saying why. I'm not asking why. I'm just saying when we sitting here blaming media, but it's just the black people influence other black people, the black kids through media. It ain't
Well,
white people. Go ahead,
well,
Nadia.
so something I wanted to ask, because going back to what we were originally discussing when we're talking about the influence of gangs and all of that. Well, when we talk about the Crips, because I did the research, the response, like the group or the Crips were a response to oppression and police brutality. It originated in the late 1960s in the central Angeles region, facing racial segregation and violence against black communities. Raymond Washington and Stanley, which was Tookie, are the creditors for forming the group, but potentially out of protection for other gang activity, and they were kind of like trying to do what they saw the Black Panther movement be a part of. So when you're talking about, oh, how does this thing come up, we're like the bigger influences of it. No, this is a response again of like these things that we continue to see happen from racism and discrimination against Black people. That was a response. Now, in the disregard to what you were talking about as far as like gangster rap, I do agree. I think that that was those influences are negative, and that ultimately perpetuated a lifestyle that I think a lot of young people wanted to follow and misled them in the wrong direction. But a lot of the things that we see that are happening again in the Black community, not to say that we can't fix them or that we shouldn't be the biggest proponent of trying to fix them, but that they don't just necessarily stem from anywhere. They come from this sense of segregation and discrimination. Even though you want to say that it's like far past and these things don't affect us anymore, these are still things that are happening because of responses of the discrimination that we face in America.
Okay, so the as far as the Crips and all that, that's some bullshit. The Crips was never a response to nothing, no revolution, no community revolution in progress or none of that. That's some bullshit they made up later on. Tukey Williams and Raymond Washington was bullies. They was bullies. Them niggas started gangs, and that's all it. Just like Chicago did, and everybody else did. It was never a group of black people that went against the police, but the Black Panthers and the groups before that. You know what I'm saying?
That description she read sound like the same one that the Italian description when they started their neighborhood gangs.
They'll try to make it cute and all that, but ain't no Crips or ain't no blood. Blood's supposed to be brotherly love overrides oppression. Something. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I mean,
The existence of Crips and Bloods been black on black since the existence. The Black Panthers were the only ones that was going against the police and was taking care of the black community.
Well,
Free
what
free
about the movie?
breakfast, free breakfast and free lunch comes from the Black Panthers, and those was kids. Those was
Well,
15, 16,
what
17,
about the
18
movie?
year olds. Actually, y'all could look in the movie, the Fred Hampton movie. He almost got into it with the Black P Stones and stuff when the feds tricked up the letters and all that, made it seem like Fred Hampton and them was talking smack about the P Stones. They was about to kill Fred Hampton and them.
well, only to articulate the standing abbreviation or the acronym is Common Revolution in Progress. So I don't think necessarily like, I guess I can attest that you might say that that is the influence of making that group was not for the solidarity of Black people, and that's something I will never know or you will never know unless we actually talk to the people who created it, and we can't. But my point in saying is that even then, that kind of goes back to the point that I was making before, that sometimes people make things in the intention to do good, like they could have wanted to do good, and then it turned into something that was completely entirely negative, like vice versa when we talk about Margaret Sanger and abortions, depending on how you look at it, obviously politically.
Yeah, it was never a good thing. It was never nothing made up. It's people. You talking about the '60s? They're still alive. Matter of fact, the '70s, late '60s, '70s, they're still alive.
Well, when you
I
talk,
read 3 of Tukey Williams' book. The best one is Blu-rays Black Redemption. Didn't we put that up before, Will? Yeah, I read that 2 times. He was on death row with his son. He denounced everything about the Crips. He started the Crips, him and Raymond Washington. The Crips was started on some gang banging, fighting stuff. Kurt, you should be able to attest to that. Even though y'all was just fighting, it was fisticuffs. But they was gang banging each other, fisticuffs. It wasn't no Crips and Bloods invented for no revolution of no neighborhood for no blacks. You know why else? Because, Kurt, you can go next. Because when the Black Panthers like Mike Geronimo and George Wallace and them was going to prison, no, they went to prison before the Crips. When they went to prison, all the Black Panthers is in prison. The Crips, the gangbangers, are the sons of the Black Panthers, are the children of the Black Panthers. Their fathers are in prison or dead. So it subsided while George Wallace and all the Black Panthers was locked up. When they saw the rush, and the Crips was always dominant. They was the first gang. When they saw the rush of the young coming in now, 18, 17, 19 coming to prison now, they was all Crips. They wasn't with that Black Panther shit. They actually was stabbing and beating them Black Panther niggas up. It was when all the Crips started getting locked up, and this is California stuff. When all the Crips started going to prison, they were oppressing the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers was being oppressed by the Nazis and the white supremacists and the Mexicans and the Crips. These are all facts. All facts. Everybody talk about it. And Tukey talked about it in his book too. But any old head, 60 or older, that did all that time in prison, they gonna tell you the real. They gonna say the Crips and all that. Once the gangs got involved, it was over. It was no more black on black unity, black pride. But even to this day, that's why the Mexican was able to stab Tory Lanez 14 times. That's why Tory Lanez was able to get stabbed 14 times and nobody did nothing. And that was a Mexican. And he was a dropout Mexican. They beat him up and kicked him out the gang because he got some child pedophilia charges. He in there for statutory rape. The Mexicans kicked him out the gang. He don't got no protection from the Mexican gangs over there, the Southsiders, and he stabbed Tory Lanez 14 times, and a near black person do nothing.
Why were you supposed to support someone that did wrong?
This is what I don't get. I mean, and I've asked this question of a number of people. You know, I was once told that these narratives about gangs, when the Black Panthers formed, they considered them a gang. When the white people got together or organized, they just called them the Ku Klux Klan or the Aryan Nation. It was never gang or negative connotation added to it. Now, we talk about the Black Panther movement, but they ain't said nothing about the move up in Philadelphia. They was about themselves. They took care of themselves. They were self-sufficient, and they dropped a bomb on the whole damn city block. And just recently did they return the bones of those children that were burned up in the fire. So nobody ever talk about it. They always create these gangs when it's black people organizing so that they could vilify a certain people so that they can become the shining armor to come and administer justice.
And to that point, as what Kurt's saying, and obviously, like we said, yeah, I do believe what you're saying is true, BJ, that at some point it turned into complete dysfunction, but maybe that's not entirely how it was started. We've seen a lot of organizations where things fall apart because people don't have the same ideals. They might have the same goals, but not the same ideals of how to make that effective. And if that was the case, it was multiple black people not on the same page of what they should be doing, but it could have came from a good place. Now I'm looking at multiple sources, and obviously I haven't looked at Tookie's book, so that's different. Maybe you have more prior knowledge on that aspect than I do. But when you look at multiple sources, it'll say the same thing, that it was a response after this disbandment of Black Power movement, and it was to protect Black people from police brutality and corruption in Los Angeles. And it was that increased violence that they saw that prompted the clips to be made in the first place. I would have to say that, like,
so what I'm gonna do is nah, it's all good. I like that. It's all good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a note on that, and next episode I'm gonna bring like videos or clips of the OGs that was part of the first generation. Like I said in Tuki book, he tells you that first of all, the Crips before Crips, it was street gangs. That's why the Bloods, Pyrus, and all that. These are street. They come from streets. So say it was like the 110th boys versus these boys, and then they came together and started the Crip. I forgot where the word came from. I don't even want to make nothing up, but he says it all in his book. It was never about no going with the police, protecting the community from the police and all that. They was oppressing their own community. Everyone says it. It's a known fact.
Not everybody says it.
But you don't even know who you're getting that source from. I'm talking about the people that's I'm talking from the people that's banging the people that were Crips. Tuki founded the Crips. You want me to go against what the man who founded the Crips saying for what you reading in Google? That man said how it came to be. Every gang started with that. It's only one black organization that went against the police and did for the community, and that's the Black Panthers. Nobody else. Let me know. I could be wrong. Let me know in the chat, y'all. Anybody else besides the Black Panthers?
Move in Philadelphia, and that was recent. That's been within the last. I think that was in the 80s, maybe.
Yeah, I never heard of them. I never heard of Move. I didn't hear about them until they said something about they went back. I seen a clip about they dropped the bomb, and but I'm talking about like, and I'm not gonna discount them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look into them too. But the Black Panthers were nationwide. California, New York, Chicago. They were nationwide. They were taking care of communities. They were feeding the people, teaching the people. They were doing what the ancestors were doing. You know what I'm saying? And they were children. They were 20 and under.
They were also infiltrated by the CIA, and in turn, that's when they considered them a black nationalist group.
I don't care about none of that. I don't care about what they consider them and all that. As long as you're not breaking laws, you fine. They could consider you. They put me in the blood book since I was 17. I don't care about none of that. Don't break no laws. The only thing that happened to the Black Panthers were they started shooting at the police. You know what I mean? They got real radical. They really was going at the police for real. They was shooting at them. And that's really they downfall there. And then, because they didn't understand how the feds operate, they got their phones wiretapped and all that. They'll use you, Kurt, to infiltrate my organization, but you big brother Kurt from St. Louis, chapter of the Black Panthers. So I'm open arms with you, but you really a CI. You really a confidential informant working for the feds.
No, don't put me in that.
They had a whole bunch of them.
Don't put me in. Let's change that around. You the CIA guy.
Now we gotta see your paperwork, man. We gotta see your paperwork, bro.
But also,
I'm the one that did all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Also, when you
BJ always got off.
When you go back and look at the founders, the people who created the Crips, and why they went to jail for murdering another black man. None of them went to jail for killing police. Assata Shakur is still on the run. Assata Shakur is what, 70 years old? She's still in Cuba on the run. Your man Obama raised her rewards to $3 million. They still want Assata for some stuff she didn't even do. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody go against them police but the Black Panthers, man. And I guess the Move organization or whatever. But all the founders of the Crips were out there, and they all ended up on death row for killing another black man. Not the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers never killed another black man.
Van said Hoover and Tukia are descendants of the Panther movement.
Who?
Larry Hoover and Tukia are descendants of the Black Panther movement.
Tuki and Hoover? Mm-hmm. Oh, Larry Hoover.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking J. Edgar Hoover. I'm like, what?
Bye, dude.
No, Larry Hoover is not a descendant of a Black Panther. Larry Hoover Larry Hoover's 80 something, so he was in the mix. You know what I mean? But he was never no Black Panther. You know what I mean? I don't think he was. I don't think Larry was always conscious though. Larry was always conscious. They was just gangsters though. They was criminals. So you know what I mean? Um, but once again, it came up because I said the gangs is the number one enemy of the black race right now. Gangs. I'm talking about now. Everything I'm saying is now. They could have started whatever. I'm not okay. They started that.
What up, Bert?
None of the founders are saying that's why this was created. The Bloods was created because they was being oppressed by the Crips, other black men. The Bloods in New York was created because the Latin Kings was kicking them niggas ass on Rikers Island. Was running through niggas on Rikers Island. So they created, it was one, OG Mac was from California. He started the Bloods in 1992 on Rikers Island. And it went crazy. And when the Bloods got their numbers up and started kicking the Latin King ass, you know what happened? They started killing each other again. They went back to killing each other. They went back to kicking each other ass.
Van said Hoover's people was Black Panther.
No, for sure. No, all them Chicago dudes is solid. Like all them Chicago dudes, St. Louis, I'm talking about the ones born before 65, born before 70. All of them, St. Louis, that whole Midwest, they were solid. California, they were solid. But once again, y'all got to remember, these are descendants of the plantation niggas. Hoover and them is descendants of the Hoover, Tukey. Tukey come from Louisiana. All of them are country niggas, plantation, big bulk niggas. All of them. And they descendants of the slaves, of the free slaves. All of them. Even when you go to New York and you get the big time dope dealers, Frank Lucas and all of them, they country niggas. Every kingpin from New York, Frank Matthews and all of them, they all country niggas, plantation niggas. Yeah, descendants of plantation niggas. They got a different spirit, bro. I say that all the time. They got a different spirit. And but as of now, the gangs is just been oppressing the community since the 80s. Gangs and crack.
I think that gang activity needs to stop for sure. But I think a lot of that can be changed through giving more resources and education to those people. I think that people only resort into those types of things. Not all. I'm sure there's some people who are genuinely just evil spirited. But I like to argue that I feel like most people wouldn't condition themselves to be in those types of situations if they had better opportunities. And I take that to like the strain theory, which I think really prompts a lot about what we talk about. It's the idea that deviance and crime occurs when there's a discrepancy between cultural goals and legitimate means to achieve them. And I think that comes from, not being able to, I guess, achieve what you want in the positions that you're at. And we see that our certain communities, specifically people of color, tend to struggle to do or to make ends meet with the idea of the like American dream.
Say that one more time. The definition of that. What was that definition again?
So the strain theory, which I'm gonna use a lot more, you're gonna hear me keep going back to this because I really think it holds true. But it's the idea that the deviance in crime occurs when there's a discrepancy between cultural goals and legitimate means to achieve them. So, like when we talk about the cultural values of the Western Hemisphere, it's more so about meeting the expectations of the American dream. That you want to have the picket fence, you want to have money, the family, and you want to be able to be educated and to make ends meet on your own. A lot of communities, or let me not say a lot, but we see that specifically the Black community tends to not always be able to meet that standard, and that people of color are not often able to meet that standard because of some of the things that affect them. And when they're not able to meet that, they resort to crime and they resort to other things that because they deviate from the system, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't see. That's why I don't like these books.
Oh my God!
I just don't.
You don't like education? What?
But we have the most resources we've ever had, right? You can make money without even leaving the house. Well, they playing video games, making money. What more resources do we need?
I think when you attest to like, let's talk about it. Like, I think there's discrepancy in education. I think there's like, yeah, we have more resources than ever, but are they being used in the ways that they need to be used? Like, this is my whole thing, right? When we talk about gerrymandering or gentrification or redlining, it's this idea of putting resources into things that are already wealthy and already have richness anyway. When Black children don't have the same education as other communities do, or maybe they might not have the same access to resources like SAT. I'm going back to more so an educational route, but this could be applied to other things. But let's just say, like, that Black kid doesn't have SAT prep. That person doesn't have the ability to get tutoring. That person might not be able to, have transportation so that they can go to opportunities where they can enrich themselves so they can be prepared for college or other things. Then that kid may not do well in comparison to their other counterpart. And it's stuff like that. Like, yes, we have resources when it comes to phones and stuff like that, but we see that it's intentional, that they make sure that their communities are given the access to the best of the best, while there's certain communities that don't have the same resources. And so you don't see the same outcomes.
You proving one of BJ's main points. When fresh out of slavery, when we could barely read and write, those Black communities were thriving with nothing.
They said they was just existing. They weren't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to count it.
But meanwhile, they had Black banks, Black hospitals, Black schools. They had their own schools. They didn't have to ask the white man to teach their children. They didn't wait on the white man to bring them no resources. None. They had their own everything, but they was just existing. So what we got now? We don't have none of that, right? We still waiting for someone to bring us some resources to come help us. So where are we supposed to get these resources and stuff
so can I ask a question? Do you guys believe that the Black community would be better off if there was just complete, because I think what you're articulating is the idea of, like, pretty much segregation again. Like,
yes.
you feel like that's the way, the route?
Yes. Yes.
I don't think that would change. I don't know if we live in a political climate where we'll ever just be able to desegregate entirely.
No, it will never happen. Of course, I know that because Black people don't want to get away from white people. For one,
that's the first people outside of white people. But I get what you're saying.
No, sure. and I'm not even. I don't even want to dump on white people. You know what I'm saying? Because tell you the truth, man. Truth be told, let me tell you a little secret, right? I never had no issues with white people ever in life. White people always help me. I'm the one that's doing the bullshit. That's on the bullshit because I'm so goddamn. I want to be.
That's crazy.
I'm so a part of the losing team. I'm so loyal to the losing team, and I'm never gonna turn my back on them that I gotta sit here and portray this thing of these people being enemies, and it's so hard out here for Black people because of the white man. But I never had that issue. I never had no white man do nothing to me. Never.
I can't attest.
Davon says it will never change because we as Black people glorify the wrong stuff. We love gangs, we love strippers, we love bad food, and we hate each other for looking like each other.
Yo, I've had my whole life. I've had nothing but white people help me. Straight up, my whole life. I'm talking about in trouble, out of trouble, everywhere. Everywhere. White in prison, white COs.
That's been our only ally, right? Throughout history.
Man, the only ally. I keep telling people that. White boy up in our only ally.
The only ally is crazy.
Who? Nope, we don't help each other.
They all say that.
Ourselves.
They all say that, but who?
Not one, not a Mexican, not a Irishman.
Still to this day.
How will we be able to create schools if we don't like each other? If we ain't gonna help each other?
That's Kurt. I say this every episode. I've said it from the beginning. Black people have to focus on Black people. We got to get our shit together and stop saying what we can't do. We can't do this because of this. We can't do that because of this. I have too many brothers around me that's doing whatever they want legally. And when I wasn't legal, we was doing whatever we wanted to do illegally. It was never no. I know it's there. See, y'all mistaken what I'm saying as if I'm saying it's not there. It's not evident. Racism is there. Oppression is there, of course. But it was never in my way. All the people that was, you know what I mean? I was in my way. Right. More than anything. More than any oppression and all of that. And that's evident. Because if it wasn't, how did you end up in Georgia State, Nadia?
I mean, I ended up in Georgia State because I had help and I had good parents, but ultimately I've had a lot of hardships. My point in position too.
But you came out of them hardships. You ended up in Georgia State.
Absolutely. Well, let me say this to you. The same way that you believe that there's oppression and that that you see that exists, is the same way that I can see and understand that whilst there is oppression, that we still have opportunities to thrive and make leadway into being better. It's just that I argue that the thing that I get at is that not that Black people can't be successful. I never attest to that. What I am saying though is that I clearly see that there's a lot of boundaries that we are having, and that doing it the easy way isn't necessarily easy for us. Like, I think it's a lot easier when you come from generational wealth. It's a lot easier when you have financial literacy. It's a lot easier when you come from a family who has certain resources to provide you versus what you don't. And so, yes, I was successful, but I know that there's people who are not like me who want to be in that position, but maybe they just don't have what I have. And I did have a decent. I did grow up with parents that were kind and present in my life. They weren't perfect, but they were present. And I know there's some people who didn't have that at all. And so it's like, I'm just trying to say and state that I think that we could make these things easier if we are acknowledging that, hey, there's these things that make it like Black people have to work twice as hard. I don't want us to have to work twice as hard if we don't have to. That's all.
All right, we got our first guest call in. We've been trying to get this feature working since how long, DJ?
Since we started.
Since we started. Who we got on the call right now? Go ahead and introduce yourself. Go ahead and introduce yourself, caller.
Islam. I'm Moorish American Muslim, Lee Muhammad Day, and I'm just scrolling on YouTube and I think I'm broadcasting.
We get it right eventually. What happened? They ain't come through the thing?
You can't hear him?
No.
All right, we'll figure it out.
But what? Damn, I had something. I forgot what you said. What was the last thing you said, Nadia?
I just was trying to basically explain the same that you understand and I believe there's oppression, but that you are able to exceed the limitations of that is me saying that yes, while I do believe I can exceed the limitations and that I do think I've been successful in some areas, is that Black people have to work twice as hard or 3 times as hard or 4 times as hard. And I just really want to change the narrative that we don't have to work as hard, that we can get these opportunities without having to, I guess, kill ourselves in the process. That's really it.
I remember now. You said you don't want us to have to work hard.
Twice as hard. Not okay. Hard. Twice as hard. Sorry.
All right, ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't gonna, you know what I mean? Okay.
Like, I think everybody should work hard. I
think twice as hard is what makes us great.
I think
every great Black person had to work 10 times as hard.
Right. It makes us resilient.
But DJ, everybody don't have that white man that's friendly with them. You know, like you say, you never had a white man that was your enemy. I can't say that. I done had white men that tried to lynch me as a kid, simply because I was on the west side of Grand. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't have that leisure to have a white man that's a CO in jail, or the white police officer when I got locked up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't have that leisure, especially in the Black neighborhood. We don't have the same history that you may have grew up with. And I get that. You know what I'm saying? I also get that we got to do better as a people in trying to come together to help each other to exceed the expectations of somebody else. We just got to make our own expectations of ourselves. But how do we do that if we don't, it's one thing I learned about Missouri. They always call Missouri the show me state, but really it's the hater state. They see me driving a nice Cadillac and they mad because I got out here and I grind to be able to get me a nice ride, and they catching the bus. So they want to.
Who you talking about? Who's they? Who mad at you? Who you talking about?
Your people.
No, I'm saying, yeah, keep it real. Keep talking. That's why I keep. Go ahead. Keep
you
going. You talking about your own Black people. That's what you talking about.
Wait, listen. Crime is normally is crimes of opportunity. It's not like that don't happen in the white neighborhood. It happens in the neighborhood in which they live. See,
Literally.
white people don't go outside and come into the city around black folks to steal their shit, but they'll steal their shit in their own neighborhood because it's right there and it's an easy access to be able to get it and get away. That's how crime normally happens, right in the inner city, because it's just people that's right there that are trying to thrive to get something. And so they'll steal from their neighbor who has worked hard as opposed to sitting on their ass and try to get what you got the easy way. It's always crimes of opportunity because they don't have the opportunity to go out in the county where there is no buses. So they're going to steal your car. But we got to reach one and teach one. But see, it's hard when we get the older people, like my generation, that just forgot about them and hey, look, they're going to have to make it on their own. Niggas ain't shit. And just leave them. Because if you leave them, then 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it's going to be just as bad, if not worse. It's going to perpetuate itself over and over again. It's easy to say we got a problem, but then have no avenue to fix it. It has to be a way to fix it.
I
Yeah,
believe
And it's
that.
not going to be overnight.
That's all I'll be talking about. What we gotta be able to identify the problems and able to be able to fix them. Now, when I said I never had a problem with white people, I never said anything about any white man helping me or white person helping me or growing up with white people and all that. So I don't know where you got that from. I didn't grow up with white people. I grew up in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn to be exact. And it wasn't no white people living in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, Crown Heights, maybe a little bit in Crown Heights, but wasn't no white people in my neighborhood. Ain't no white people help me.
You said the CEO.
I said I never had a problem, an issue with a white person. Never had that. I said now I also even had some of them help me, whether I'm in the trucking world or the white COs might have looked out for me in prison and all that. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't no white man there to help me succeed in life or none of that. It wasn't never none of that. But I do see a lot of stories of that. That's what bothers me also, where we sit here and make excuses for black. This is exactly what you did. You came on and said, well, I ain't have white people help me. I actually had a white person try to lynch me and da 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 da. And then, you kept going to the point where you said St. Louis, Missouri is the hater state. They hate me because I got a nice ride. Da, da, da. You talking about black people though. So therefore, you're saying the same thing.
There is systemic hatred amongst ourselves. But where does that hatred come from? That inner hatred about ourselves.
That
You
comes
know what I'm saying? That didn't, we hate each other. And that's just not in St. Louis. I know you in your life probably had one of your own brothers snitch on you or turn you in or turn against you. That's systemic. It comes down from slavery. That one nigga.
I totally disagree.
He will shoot you if you try to run off the plantation.
Totally disagree. I'm not gonna blame slavery and all that for a weak nigga in 2025 telling on a nigga because he got caught snitching or doing something to another nigga. We not gonna blame slavery. We gonna blame them niggas being some suckers.
In the black community,
these niggas some suckers, man. These niggas suckers, bro. I ain't never had nobody teach me nothing. It's my spirit that won't allow me to tell on somebody. That's it. It ain't no slavery. Ain't no slavery teach nobody to tell on me. Ain't no slavery taught that. Ain't no system there. Ain't no system making us do nothing, bro. That system stuff is over with. It's overrated, man. Yeah, it was a system in place. Kurt, I just let you talk for 10 minutes, Kurt. I didn't bother you.
But how did we get here?
I just let you ramble for 10 minutes. I keep coming back to a system that's making black people do nigga shit. No, it's just black people doing nigga shit. That's it. Because the same black people in them same communities where it's black people doing nigga shit, is black people there that's not doing nigga shit.
Where they learn it?
It's black people that's actually working. It's
Where they
black people that actually want to do better in life. Actually, a brother of mine, Josh, is in here since we was 14 years old. And Frank, since we was 14 years old. They made a choice. We all from the same hood. We all from the hood. Frank from Flatbush, from Sean. Frank grew up with Sean. You know what I mean? Josh from Crown Heights, right up the street from me. They made a choice. I made a choice. I made a choice to stay here and be involved in the nigga shit. They made a choice to go to North Carolina, stay in college, go to A&T, graduate, and be productive black men in society. It's choices. It wasn't no system there. It was no oppression there. It was me making a choice, dropping out of school, making a choice to be a nigga on the corner.
So can I ask you?
And them making a choice to be successful black men. That's all it is. The problem with the black community is we still have black people in 2025 that keep making excuses for black people in 2025.
So can I
There's no excuse.
May I ask a question, BJ?
Go ahead.
What was like the reason when you decided to do the things you did instead of maybe going to college or something like that? Why did you make that choice? Did you feel like you just did it because you were ignorant? Did you feel like you did it because you felt like that was an easier route to have success and income? Like, what is it? What turned you against going to college versus doing the things that you did?
Well, I actually was in college. I was in my second year in Long Island University.
Okay.
Business management, accounting major.
Okay.
With a GPA of a 3.57.
Okay, so
I was in college. So I was in college and I wanted money. I wanted money now. I was broke. I wanted money now. I didn't want to work. I didn't care about anything but the block. That's it. But my block. That's it.
I mean, I attest to that. I think that again, that goes kind of back to like the strain theory. Like if you had, like, let's be real, right? This is a thing that I would like to argue with you, and only you would know yourself. But I would argue a lot of people, if they had, like, if you were chilling and you had money, you would have probably stayed in school. No? Or
No,
you still think you would have went?
I would have never even went to school if I had money. School was a waste of time. I felt like school was a waste of time when I was in high school.
So you wouldn't have went and got your education because you didn't think it was important. But you did go get an education after that. It was just in something different because you have a CDL, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's true. I argue
Which part?
I don't think that you think school is stupid. Just the form of school that you were in wasn't for you.
No, I ain't say it was stupid. I said it was a waste of time.
Okay.
I still believe that. I still believe that. I have children that I'm not gonna send to college unless they're gonna be a doctor or a lawyer.
I wouldn't either. But my argument to that again is also a lot of the influences of why people make the decisions they do is because either they don't know better, which again comes from like you not having a good or strong support system, or two, also part of being that you may not have the resources and you feel as though, hey, I don't know the options out there, and so you swing to what you think is going to be the most effective in that moment. But you did turn around your life and then went to do something that was productive in a form of education, because vocational education is education. It's just a different form of it. You are licensed to do what you do.
Let me ask you this. Me, Josh. Is Josh still in here? Yep. Me, Josh, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Same age, black kids, same struggle, same everything. Single parent household, same everything.
Mm-hmm.
They made a choice. No resources. We all doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They made a choice to leave New York, to leave Brooklyn. I made a choice to stay. It is that simple.
Right.
Y'all want to make it seem like it's some magical, the resources and da-da-da. I could have went and got a job.
No, well, no, I argue this too, though. Like, and we see this all the time in siblings as well. Is a person that comes from a traumatized household might end up being an abuser, whereas the other child might end up becoming okay, fine, and doing nothing like the parent that they experienced before. That's not saying that didn't impact you. It just impacted you differently. Everybody deals differently with traumatized.
What are you trying to say?
If you don't have resources, right? That's what we're going back to, right? That they all had the same struggle. You guys all had the same struggle. Just because you have the same struggle with somebody does not necessarily mean that your response is going to be identical. And we see that in human beings overall when it comes down to sibling patterns. They come from the same household, but one ends up being a drug addict.
Choices.
Yeah, it's choices. I don't necessarily know. I would call it choices as much as I would say that the impact or the implications of the traumatization. That's what I consider.
Traumatization of what?
Of of whatever experience you had, if you had a lack thereof, like if you had a lack of love, or you had a lack of parents in the household, or you had a abuser in your household, that will bring some certain parts of trauma, or the lack of resources, like you just said, same struggle, whatever.
Which resource?
You are the person that you said money, right?
Okay,
money is
the
a real
resource.
thing. Money makes the world go round. You cannot live in America
So-
at this climate without no money.
So I could have just went and got a job.
BJ,
I didn't have to choose the streets.
You're missing my point. You're missing my point.
I didn't have to choose the streets, Nadia.
You didn't, but I'm saying that ultimately, while you're taking accountability for it, and I can appreciate that, I'm saying that that's still a response to something else, even if you're choosing to ignore that that's a response or not. Yeah, it was a choice, but ultimately people fall into those choices because of the experiences that they had, which can be traumatizing.
Earlier, man. I don't know
Whoever on the phone, I can hear them.
Earlier.
I can hear him now. Y'all can hear the person on the phone?
Yeah, I can hear them.
Go ahead, introduce yourself, bro.
We can hear you, bro.
Oh, Islam. I'm Morris American Muslim. I'm in y'all chat box, man, but I'm just strolling through YouTube, and I seen y'all broadcast, and I seen in the caption y'all got y'all talking about the denationalized Moors, the branded blacks.
Yeah, appreciate the love. We hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So, when you say Black America, you specifically talking about branded blacks in America, so-called Negroes, right? So-called African Americans, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we know who Martin Luther King Jr. is. We know who Jesse Jackson is. We know who Al Sharpton is. We know who Huey P. Newton is.
Yep.
So they're the individuals that we follow. They're supposed to be teaching us about nationality.
Yep.
Okay, so when it's 1963, Martin Luther King gave his "I Have a Dream" speech, and Canadians were in Canada with their full rights, watching it on TV. The Mexicans were in Mexico with their full rights, watching it on TV. So why are you on TV talking about black people?
As far as what? What you mean?
I'm saying it's the Negro Civil Rights Movement. That's for 14 years.
Right.
Okay. Not one time did you mention nationality.
Did I mention not one time? Did I mention nationality?
No. We talking about the branded blacks in America. The caption that you got in the video is called America. So I'm asking you talking about the branded blacks in America, so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, right?
Yeah, foundational Black Americans is what they call them, the FBA.
Right. But everybody got nationality. So these are branded blacks, so-called Negroes.
Yeah, I guess descendants of the slaves. Yeah, descendants of the slaves. Yep.
Right. Cool. So the topic is nationality. So we talking about the Negro Civil Rights Movement. Everybody know who Martin Luther King is, and everybody we follow doing segregation in the beginning of desegregation. So we know all that, and nobody is talking about nationality. Why is that? Because that's the main that's what it is. That's what it's always been. Nothing has changed. That always has been the topic that we need to be talking about.
When you saying nationality, what are you talking about? Like what nationality are you talking about? What are you talking about? As far as the civil rights movement, what
African American?
It was different nationalities that was a part of the movement or something?
Nah, it's the Negro Civil Rights Movement.
Right.
The denationalized Moors, branded blacks, so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans in America.
Yep.
You talking about Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. Now, if I ask you the question, what was the nationality of Martin Luther King? You can't tell me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say African American.
Yeah, I would say the same.
Okay, can you go to Africa America?
No. I get where you going, bro. Me, I'm just gonna say I'm American. I'm just gonna say I'm American. You know what I'm saying? But I get it.
Yeah, okay. So if you saying you American, right? The only way you can be that, because you know about segregation, you know about desegregation. You know during segregation you only had two kinds. One say white, the other say color. So the only way you're American is a white American.
No, I don't
Time
agree
has
with that.
changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Time has
I don't agree
changed.
with
Well, it
that.
was only two sides. It was on. Do you know segregation?
So if I'm not American,
Segregation. It
what's
was only two sides. It was one was white, the other was color.
what's my
So when we followed
nationality
Martin
then?
Luther King, did he? Huh?
What's my nationality then if I'm not American?
Okay. Only Moors are branded black, so-called Negro.
See, and this is another prime example of the
So if
problem in
you're
the
a
black
branded
community.
black, look. So if you're a branded black, you're so-called. If you're a branded black / so-called Negro, because you're so-called Negro before you're branded black,
Yeah.
you're a Moorish descent. Because only Moors are branded black all over the world. But we specifically talking about our nation state, our country, the United States of America. See, we don't even know what country we're from because they miseducated us. They told us that our ancestors came on slave ships and chains to pick cotton on the plantation.
You must be a
We don't know where
Moor.
we from.
You must be a Moor.
Well, Moorish American. Well, when I called the phone up, like a Moorish American Muslim, Lee Muhammad Bey. It's all about nationality. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, we probably didn't hear that part, but where was the Moors at during the civil rights movement? Since you gonna bring the Moors at, where y'all was at when Martin Luther King and them was getting knocked upside their head? Where was the Moors at?
Well,
Cause I ain't see
if
y'all
I ask
neither.
you if I ask you the question of what's the nationality of Martin Luther King, you can't tell me.
Yeah, he's
We
African
passed that,
American.
man. We don't care about nationalities.
Yeah.
This is all about the color of your skin. Because
And
the one thing about it, they pull us over and they pull you over. They gonna knock you upside your head too.
Look. That's why you need to know nationality. Why? Because people don't have color. If you're talking colors and then you don't know what it means, then there you go. That's why black people, black power, Black Lives Matter. It was only two sides doing segregation. One say white, the other say color. We follow Martin Luther King. We claim color. We know what color means. Because you read the definition of it, don't even say black.
So
we follow Martin Luther King. We claim color. We ain't claim white.
So you
We
think
claim white.
So you think the problem of the black community is that we don't know our nationality?
Well, yeah, your neighbors to the north are the Canadians. Canadians nationality are people. Your neighbors to the south, the Mexicans. Mexicans are nationality. Mexicans are people.
Yo.
this is a problem.
How that's gonna fix the black community though?
Yeah, that's the problem right there. First off,
House call
nationality
job.
is just where you're
You
legal.
doing it already. House call job, right? You got a house where you take care of yourself, where you raise your family.
That's a fact.
And you work at Walmart. You work at Walmart, or you work at Payless.
Yeah.
Or Radio Shack.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
No.
So we talking about brands and land property deeds. So that's nationality. So right now we ain't got no major brands. We ain't got no land property deeds. But we work for somebody that was brand while we tax and bill for fake money. Now, when we talk about money, that's a whole different topic. Right now we just talking about human identity, which is nationality.
So where y'all was at with where y'all was at with when the Black Panthers was out here getting knocked upside their head too, and offering free lunch and free breakfast and all that, taking care of the black community. Where was the Black Moors at?
Well, when you talking about, you said the Black Moors?
Yeah. Well, the Moors,
No,
because y'all already black.
The Moors.
That's right.
Well, everybody has nationality, and only Moors are branded black. That's why you keep even saying branded black.
Yeah.
You branded black. You branded.
I respect the Moors. I respect Mansa Musa and them.
P. Newton, okay, the branded blacks on the West Coast, they follow Huey P. Newton. And
Huey, my man. I love Huey.
Yeah, but okay, so you followed him, and he ain't say nothing about nationality.
I don't care about nationality. I ain't gonna lie. I don't care about it.
How you know? That's human identity.
Because that's just something else that's gonna separate the black community. We already separated by politics and religion and everything else. So if I come in the black community hey man, man, y'all really ain't colored, or y'all really Negroes, or we really Moors, or that's just they not even gonna listen to me no more, man. They not gonna listen to you. You go in that black community and try to get them young boys, them YNs that's running around with them switches and shooting shit up. They don't give a damn about no nationality.
Man, if you talking about the young branded blacks in America, they're already familiar with it. We love hip hop. We born and raised in hip hop. There's songs about nationality. They just ain't taught it. Right? What this nigga? What's the foreign national name? This nigga name was Trinidad James, the nigga from Trinidad. You get what I'm saying? Like they know about it. We just ain't taught it. We just know black people, black power, Black Lives Matter, and African Americans. There's no African American for you to go to Africa for them to be African Americans. So it's not nationality.
I think we just got to keep it simple, bro. I think at this point,
it is simple. It's Canadians to the north, Mexicans to the south.
No, I get it.
Nationality.
I get it. But when you're trying to attract the minds of the people right now in this day and age, you just gotta go with everything that's black, man. We black, yo. You black. We'll get into the Moors and the Hebrew Israelites and the Muslims. We'll get back to that later.
The slave is property, a brand is property. You're branded black. Before you're branded black, you're so-called Negro. You read the definition of color in the Law Dictionary, it says designate Negroes or persons of the African race. It don't even say black. You're branded black.
Right. I get it. I see where you're going with it. I just know that's not going to help the black community.
Well, you see the route that you've been going on, right? You've been going on this route for like, you had hip-hop for 50 years, so you've been going through this more than 50 years. So, I mean, you going to stay with the black people, black power, Black Lives Matter? You going to stay with that?
Nah. Might have to.
Because look, we had the dope game in the 80s. We had massive incarceration in the 1990s.
Right.
That's black people, black power, Black Lives Matter. Yeah. Well, we ain't got nothing. That's why we got no major brands. That's why we got no land properties. Black people, black power, Black Lives Matter. We got fake God, the mild European Jesus, who you call white. You don't call yourself white, but you call mild European Jesus white. Well, we got slave names, the Dred Scott case, 1827. You got fake money. So you got fake guys, fake money, and slave names for generations.
So where the Moors at right now? Where the school at? School of thought at for the Moors? What?
You can go to the Prophet Temple right now, the Moorish Science Temple of America. You can Google it on the phone. They got temples across the country. We just don't have a lot of them, like the black church. So you can go into any major city in our country, and you're gonna find a black church. You're gonna find a big black church. I
don't rock with the black church. I go to a mosque before I go to a church.
And it's kind of the same thing with the Nation of Islam, because the brands of blacks that's in the Nation of Islam, they ain't got no major brands of no land property deeds either. Just like the brand of blacks that's in the so-called Negro church. So this is black people, black power, Black Lives Matter for generations, decades, years. No major brands, no land property deeds. Only thing you do is keep up with somebody else's brand and take care of their customers while you're taxing bills for fake money for decades, generations, years.
So what's the answer, man? Give me a final thought, man. What's the answer, man?
I just said brands and land property deeds.
But Kurt don't like that, man, because they'll hit us with the eminent domain.
Who is that? Who is that?
Kurt, my man right here, my OG right here, big brother Kurt on the screen.
Oh, you talking about the one of
What do you mean they'll hit us with the eminent domain?
They talk about so black America. They talk about, okay, all right. Let me holler right quick.
What do you mean by eminent domain, though?
No, he said we need brands and land, and I'm saying that they could take the land whenever they want.
There you go. Look, you started up for me. Brands and land. What you talking about a brand? I'm talking about store shop, business company brands, factory manufacturers, supply chains. No matter what industry it is, you know what I'm saying? You start your brand in that industry. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so listen.
You want to be a plumber, you want to be an electrician,
man,
you want to be an auto mechanic.
I'm with you 1,000%. I'm with you 1,000%. I'm with you 1,000% on that. I've been arguing that for the longest. I just said that to my big brother. I said that to my big brother last episode about the laundromat. He told me Oprah don't want to wash no goddamn clothes and all this other stuff. That's what you just said is what I was saying, because my ancestors did it. You know what I'm saying? The ancestors did it fresh out of slavery.
No, but I haven't heard you gonna open up another domain.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. But I'm talking about Black Wall Street. But hold on, Kurt got something to say. Go ahead, Kurt.
You said something about a laundromat and Oprah. If you want to suggest that for her, why come you don't do that yourself? Don't suggest that for somebody else if that's not what you're willing. If that's not the platform you're going to open up. Her platform may not be laundromat. Her platform was a media outlet. That was her platform to try to, incorporate a lot of the so-called black household. Laundromat, you often heard it. No, well, why she ain't open up a laundromat? Why you didn't open up a laundromat?
I
I'll answer
agree.
that. You want to answer that, big brother?
No, I'm asking
Well,
you.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why I
Oh,
didn't open a laundromat, because at the time I didn't have the profile to. I had the money. I didn't have the profile. I actually looked it up. My mother's here. I actually had my mother look into it. Laundromat, McDonald's, Wingstop. This is all 2012, 2013. I had the money, but you need a good representative, and I wasn't that. I got a criminal background, and I don't even have a way to even show how I'm coming with 300,000 to open something up. I couldn't get no loan at the time
yeah,
because
but
once
but
again, I
even
don't
if you
have the
open it, even if
profile
you open
to
that
get the
thing, you
loan.
gonna do it with that 14-minute long
Them
thing I think the kitchen
laundromats,
diving, you know?
them washing machines, and them dryers and shit. That shit, man, them joints cost.
Why don't you
Them,
just
them
be an
joint, and
investor?
I was gonna open a 24. I wanted mine to be 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? So
Why don't you?
You
I
gonna make all
wasn't
that
trying
back
to.
though.
I wasn't
You know
trying to
what I'm saying? You
suggest.
gonna make all that back though.
I wasn't trying to suggest Oprah for her to do. I was simply giving you an example of like my man on the phone just said. Brandon, what we need to do for our community: open black-owned laundromats, black-owned supermarkets, black-owned anything in the community, black-owned. Y'all brought up Oprah having a channel own. I said that does nothing for the black community. I said she could throw away money. These are people that have money and the power to do. If she will go to Africa and open up a school in Africa for girls, but she won't do it for Chicago. She won't do it. She won't open nothing, build nothing in Chicago for where they have the largest number of murders in the black community out the whole nation. Chicago, where she from?
But
There's
out of
there's no
all,
there's no whatever neighborhood she from. There's no Oprahville.
but
That's all I was
out
saying.
of all of the people that's billionaires like Jay Z, why not mention why Jay Z haven't done that?
Kurt, I mentioned Jay-Z. I mentioned them all. I said Jay-Z hasn't done nothing for Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I'm from
And
there.
what? And the
I was
answer.
saying that when I was out there. I
Okay,
was saying that.
let me tell you a story since we got the more.
Jay Z, he came from nothing. Shit, he come from the
He
gutter.
talking to you right now, bro. He said he got a story for you, Kurt. He talking to you right now, bro.
It's his brother Thompson Eel.
No, I'm talking
Good
about
brother of
You
mine.
hear him?
Uh, they was out, I guess they were selling different things out of Moore Science Temple of America Incorporated, right? And the one lady was like, I can't buy one of them fairs. And he was like, why not? She said, I'm not a Moore. He looked at her and said, you're also not Gucci. But that black communities will buy outside of their race, outside of their culture, and support somebody else, but they won't support themselves. That's where we're so divided. We're so against the next brother succeeding and not being able to see that their success is our success. You know what I'm saying? I would prefer to shop among my own community than to take my car over there to Cadillac and have them to fix it. I take it to a brother that I know how to fix cars. But see, even trying to put back in the community, and until we can reach some type of moratorium with each other to build with each other, we gonna keep failing because we keep seeing each other as like, oh, that nigga ain't shit, or that's because that's what we have heard. It's been perpetuated over and over in our community. That nigga ain't shit. You hear women say that to their children after they done broke up with the man. Your daddy ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. And then it perpetuates itself. We have to get away from the divide amongst ourselves or trying to define what each other should be doing. Everybody got to play a part. I may not want to own no laundromat and put back in my community. I may want to just be an advocate for a better community. But every time that we put something in our community, it gets tore up for some kind of way. Whether it's just like in St. Louis, people have paid their insurance premium for the last 20 years, and then because behind closed doors, they wrote a city ordinance. If for any reason your building get tore up, and the insurance company's got to pay us the first 25% before they give you your 75% of a premium, you're supposed to get the whole 100%.
Right.
Yeah, but we talking about the black community. So
Well,
in the
That's
no,
what
same
I'm
voice
talking
where you
about. The
say
yeah,
black community.
in the
no,
same,
I
you gonna go next, Nadia. I got you. I'm gonna be quick because I'm gonna be quick. In the same breath where you saying you might not want to open a laundromat and this, that, and the third. You just was saying we don't come back and help each other. We don't come back and do this. A laundromat was an example of something. Y'all asked me what. I said a laundromat, anything, a liquor store, a chicken store. I don't give a damn what it is. Anything that black people need that they spend a dollar on every day, black people need to own. Why is it so hard for that to register? In a Jewish neighborhood, the Jewish dollar is spent, they said 13 times within their community before it leaves their community. The black dollar is not spent not one time in the community or only one time before it leaves the community. It leaves right out the community, meaning we spend our money with everyone else but black. Why is that so hard to believe? If Oprah and them is already up, you keep saying nobody helped, nobody did this, the black people don't help out, we don't help each other. These are people that are already up. They're billionaires. It's nothing for them to throw away $1 million in the black community. It's nothing. 2 million in the black community. You know what that would do to a community, a impoverished neighborhood in Chicago?
But I'm saying
She'll own
that
20 blocks off $1 million.
sound like you double talking though, because you made the statement that
They're gonna have to really
we
investigate it.
don't
I'm telling
support
you.
each other, but you want
They
us to
spend
put
money
back
because
into
finally they
it.
cash they
But
pocket.
we don't even, we won't even thrive, because if they don't support you, if you put it there, it's going to fail. You,
Yeah,
I mean, you,
I can't rock with that, Kurt. I can't rock. I can't. Now you saying if we don't, man, now you worried about putting something in the neighborhood that you grew up in. If they, okay, you need to wash your clothes. We gonna put a laundromat here. You need to buy groceries. We gonna put a supermarket here. These are essential things that you need. The
but
Chinese
those
people,
people
why
ain't
the
going to.
Asians, why the other races, every race that's other race that's in your community with a business in your community, why they not worried about that?
But because the black
They
people
said in
will go to
Chinatown,
them
right?
before they go to you.
Chinatown, all that, bro. They not worried.
Because
They not worried about it.
okay, so why do black people always go outside of their community and spend their money? That's the same question I'm asking.
But yeah,
Why
you
would
know why the money is going outside of our community? Because we don't have black owned stuff in the community. That's why.
yeah.
That's why it's going out the community. The
but we
Asians and all that,
do.
and every black community across America is other races inside the black community, getting all the money from the black people in that community. Go ahead, Nadia.
Okay, to acknowledge the few things you said, I think what I'm not understanding is like I feel like I agree with Kurt because you brought up laundromat, and I attest to that could be really important, and that's something that I want to see more black people own. I want to see more black people have more businesses. But ultimately, when you say Oprah's done nothing for the community, maybe not the community in Chicago, but again, owning your own network is something that there's not many black people doing. And promoting media that is exclusively to black people like BET, that's
Brand,
that's
you are
important
a
because
N D S brand. Brands and land property, yo.
am I
And
tripping?
that's even if
Go
we
ahead. I
talking
hear
about
you. I
real
hear you.
money
Go
and
ahead,
Yeah,
cash
Nadia.
money.
no, I was
He
saying
has a delay.
okay, but no, I just believe in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fact
Oh,
that
yeah, go ahead, go. I can
ultimately
barely
that
hear you.
is
I ain't even
something
bro.
that's
Go ahead.
helpful. Having media in our media that represents positive reflections of black people is something that we strongly need in our communities because we already have such an agreement of self-hatred and things that are taught by, I guess, what you would call like the oppression that we experience as black people. And I see one of the comments talking about black owned beauty stores and beauty supplies. I think that's something that's pivotal We know that a lot of Black women and Black people in general really like to go to beauty supplies and beauty stores, and that's something that is ingrained into our culture. There should be more Black owned beauty supplies. Thing that I noticed about Black people though is that we do have some issues when it comes down to how we handle and manage businesses, and that oftentimes we have a crab mentality when it comes to the businesses that we run, and also in the standard of business that we run. And I think that's a bigger issue on why we're not seeing such success when it comes to Black people owning businesses. I think there's a lot of people who try to make businesses that are Black, but they don't thrive for the specific reason that there's a difference in how we manage and handle businesses in comparison to other communities. And I think that that is something we need to be discussing more about.
Hey, bro. You on the line, bro? What's your name again?
Lee Muhammad Bey, that's me in the chat box, dog.
Lee Muhammad.
Yeah, Lee Muhammad Bey, that's me in the chat box.
Okay, give me a response real quick towards was you able to hear what they said?
Yeah, Lee Muhammad Bey. You said I got a delay. I can hear it though, but
Did you hear what she just said as far as the what she was just talking about?
well, yeah, basically what we were talking about already, brands and land property deeds. She was talking about a beauty store, right? So that's a brand.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she also said she think Black people have their basically problem is actually running a successful business. So that's the problem Black people are having too, sustaining the business, the way they run it, operate businesses and stuff.
I think
But
there's an
okay.
expectation. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, I got a delay. I got a delay for sure.
Yeah, you
Because
got
I
it.
hear you on the phone, but I got you on YouTube too.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Take us out with a final thought, though. I think he got another caller coming in. Got a mean delay.
You said you got another caller coming in?
Yeah, I want you to take us out with a final thought, though.
Oh, I mean, I mean, nationality. I mean, that's what it's gonna be about. That's what it's always been about.
All right.
Work. Everybody got a legal job.
Yeah.
13 FRNs. I mean, hey. I mean, just know the history. Law and history go together.
I appreciate you tapping in with us, big brother. Yeah, I appreciate you tapping in with us, man. Tap in again, man, for sure.
All right, Islam.
And love to the Moors, man. Love to all the Moors, man. Don't have no Moors in my comments, man, threatening me. You know? I don't want no problems with the Moors.
Yeah, you look in the mirror, you gonna see you is the Moor.
I like that. All right, peace, bro.
Islam.
Love. They still on the other line?
Unknown caller.
Oh, there you go.
What Will there?
Yo, Will back here sweating today. Yo, Will is back here sweating, trying to fix the camera, answer phone. Will, like, yo, I've been up since 4 a.m. I'm still dealing with this shit. Yo, okay, look.
Hello.
Oh, somebody on. Okay, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How y'all doing? How everybody doing tonight?
Man, we good, bro. We good. What's your name, man? Where you calling from?
Tyler Clark, calling from Atlanta.
Oh, what up, TJ?
Yo, what's good with it?
What's the word?
Well, I was listening to the things that you guys are saying about the people being able to do something for our communities, like Jay-Z and Oprah.
Yeah.
Number one, they get told what to do. They're not allowed to invest into the community. You know, they are empowered by the Jews, or the Ashkenazi Jews, you know, which are named in Scripture. So they don't get to put their money where they want to put it.
That's what it seemed like
That's
to
why
me.
you always see them going. Yeah, because I mean, look at how long Oprah been rich.
Man,
If she wanted to do something for our community, she could have been did it.
come on, man. She could have threw peanuts in
So they
Chicago.
not. Yeah, she could have been did that. So you know, you look at that guy. You know, the people that shut him up was those Jews. You know, they control a third of the world in commerce. They control the banking system. They run Hollywood. You know, they run the entertainment industry. They run TV and the media industry. These are the same people that Hitler was trying to wipe out. You know, I don't agree with Hitler's approach, but Hitler knew that they descended from the seed of Satan. These are the same people that Jay-Z and Oprah, or they tell Jay-Z and Oprah what to do.
Hey,
So
I ain't trying to cut you up.
I
ain't trying to cut you up, TJ, but I ain't gonna lie, man. Hitler was on the money, dog.
Yeah, he knew, because he knew. I don't agree with his approach, but he knew.
Hitler was on the money. I don't give a damn what anybody say. Hitler was on the money. We gotta open them books back up and go back to what Hitler was talking about. And he didn't hate black people like they try to portray it too.
No, he didn't. Actually,
I'm just now finding that out, TJ.
Yeah, I read a book from one of the German soldiers during the Nazi regime, and Hitler said it himself that America is going to pay a great deal because they have the chosen children of God in their possession.
Look at that.
When he's gone, they'll be able to see what he was trying to do. Again, like I said, I don't agree with his approach. But he understood and knew who he was trying to wipe out. If you go look in Scripture, you'll see in Genesis chapter 10, that's the table of nations, and they descend from the bloodline of Gomer, the Ashkenazi Jews. They run everything. They run the entertainment industry. They run the banking system. They run Hollywood. And these are the people that's telling Jay-Z and Oprah what to do.
What they
so
can and can't
put
do.
$100 million into the hood. Yeah, they can't put $100 million, $200 million in the hood if they want to. A network is cool, but again, that network is not. I mean, what is the OWN network doing?
Nothing.
You know, what is it doing for our people?
Black people don't even watch it.
So,
Black people don't even watch OWN.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, big ups to Jay-Z and Oprah. You know what I mean? But they can't really. They don't really have no say so.
And look, I'm not even saying they should be throwing 20, 30 million in the hood. I'm talking about peanuts. I'm talking about a liquor. Most of this stuff, they not even gonna have to spend no money. All they got to do is just tell somebody, yo, I want to put, a recreation center here, a laundromat here, a school here, and I want to do this. Man, them people gonna jump at anything they say they want to do. Same thing with Jay-Z in Brooklyn and Puffy in Mount Vernon or Harlem. All they got to do is say it, and it's gonna be done. They say and do anything else everywhere else, but in the communities where they came from. That's crazy.
Yeah, they always go to Africa.
Always go to Africa, bro.
Jay-Z laid a pipeline for those people that have clean running water. I don't know what part of Africa it was. It's been a while since I did my research on it, but I know that he did that. They always go overseas to Africa and do it. They never do it right here in America, where most of us are originally from.
Right.
You know, a lot of us like to say we from Africa and we the Moors and stuff like that. Well, I did my research on that years ago. We are actually the indigenous American Indians of this land. It's impossible to bring 18 million people over here on a ship. It's crazy. We're like that northeast area, that's the Iroquois Nation, like the New York and the Boston and all that, and some parts of the Midwest, that's Iroquois Nation. From North Carolina all the way down to east of the Mississippi River, that's Cherokee Nation, Cherokee, Choctaw, and Creek Indian Nation. Florida, that's the Florida Seminoles, and some parts of Florida with Cherokee Nation too. So it used to be called Turtle Island, from Canada all the way down to South America. The copper-colored skinned people, some of our people were dark-skinned. So everybody participated in slavery. I went back 5 generations. My ancestors owned slaves, but it wasn't what we think it is today. If you got a lot of people was volunteering to come over to Turtle Island or the New World from Africa because they knew that they could get paid as an indentured servant or an employee. And you was free to go to do whatever it is that you wanted to do. But they flipped it. But you got to understand who runs the media. The enemy runs the media. So of course I'm gonna tell you that you from Africa, because I don't want you to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, how you gonna know God? And this is your nationality. Your nationality consists of your culture, your history, your identity, and your pedigree. And if you're telling me that, you know, it started with slavery, and that's telling me that you don't know what those things are. And that's a fact.
That's what the last caller was talking about too, the nationality and stuff. Straight up.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, those are the things that it consists of. Our history didn't start with slavery. That's crazy to believe that your history started with slavery. And that's why I get angry with some of my people, because I know that we're not doing enough reading and researching based on the things that you're complaining about. I wanted to know if my people came off a boat, because if we came off a boat, we're old reparations. You can check the Dow's records. And if your name is on there, then you need to be going to the government to get you a check. Now, they're going to play games with you, of course, like they played with me when I went to the Bureau of Indian Affairs, because I told them, I said, my people were already here. This land was stolen from my people. And they wanted me to produce documents that they know I couldn't produce. You asked me for a birth certificate prior to 1910, and nobody had birth certificates. The Social Security numbers was issued right after 1933. So y'all asking me for stuff that you know I can't produce because they don't want to come off that land and they don't want to come off that money.
Right. Yeah. What y'all got? What y'all got? Y'all agree?
Yeah. It's just like I was telling you, like when people buy houses, they got to learn that buying the house doesn't mean that you bought the land. You got to buy the actual land in order to own it. You know what I'm saying? But that falls upon the state of oppression. This is one of the systemic policies that they got in order to oppress a people. You take away their nationality, who they is, their land, and all of that. They don't know where they come from.
Yeah. So
They think they
what's the
come.
solution? What's the solution for the black community, TJ?
The solution for the black community is love, respect, honor, allegiance, and loyalty to one another. And I pick up the phone and I text you, I say, yo, I got an opportunity. What did you do? You gonna say, oh man, F this dude, man. He ain't trying to do nothing. He trying to ride from. He ain't do that. The problem with this group of people is a lack of the most powerful element in the universe, and that's love.
Yeah.
This community has no love, no respect, no allegiance, and no loyalty to one another. I analyze the enemy and I look at what they do. I don't care what you do to them. One thing they not about to tell on each other. They not about to stab each other in the back. They're not gonna badmouth each other publicly. They don't do that. They just do things differently. Yeah. And that's the problem with this group. This group don't understand that concept. They don't understand the concept that we got God in us. It's the reason why they hate you. And the reason one of the main reasons why they hate you is because you're 100 times more powerful than them. Our women are and our men are. But if you don't know that, again, like I said, I can tell you that you black or you from Africa, I'm going to disconnect you from your lineage and who you are, because if you don't know who you are, there's no way that you know who God is. There's no power. I don't care what church you go to. I don't care. You don't know who you are. You don't know who God is. So the problem with this community is we need to understand that concept of love, loyalty, allegiance, respect, and honor amongst one another. I could never go send my brother or sister to the enemy.
Facts.
I would never do nothing like that, because I understand that this is a war, and it starts in the spirit first.
Facts.
It breaks my heart to see all of these fathers. Not to cut you off, but it breaks my heart to see all these fathers not in their children's life. They're being alienated. One by the woman because she's mad. This has been going on since they created the systems to separate our families. But you got them being supported by the system, by the enemy. The system is the enemy. So, it breaks my heart to see that. These kids are missing their fathers. You have to have a balance of both energy, masculine energy and feminine energy. This physical realm is made up of masculine energy, matter, carbon and copper. The universe is made up of feminine energy. When you have an unbalance in your household, then there's going to be an imbalance in that child. So we missing it. The Jewish community, the Caucasian community, the Indian, the Chinese, every other group is understanding this concept. You see mom and you see dad. And even if mom and dad ain't in the house, or it's mom, dad is in the life, or if it's just dad, mom is in the life. We're not disowning one another. We're not doing none of that because they understand that the bloodline runs through the man. He carries the seed. They get that. They also understand that you have to have two energies. That's just how it goes. There has to be a balance within this universe. But the main thing and the most important element within this universe is love. Nothing beats it. You can think about some of the things that hurt you the most, some of your most traumatic experiences in your life, and love will conquer that. And once this group understands that concept, we can beat anything. Because can't nobody beat us. We the dream team. Everything they do, all the money that they make is off of us. And they know that. The problem is we don't know that.
That was powerful. That was powerful there, TJ. That was powerful there, TJ. Hey, TJ, you know what else I want to do? You still train with the OG?
Yeah, I'm a healer, man. I train martial arts, health and fitness. I don't want to talk about it on the air what I just did for a gentleman because you know a lot of people watching. They don't like healers at all. We cutting into their money.
Oh yeah,
but, you know, I'm a healer and So I health and fitness, nutrition, things of that nature.
But send me
your health is your wealth.
Send me your card or something too, because I can start promoting you on this joint. The part that you're willing to promote. You know what I'm saying? But I was just asking you because I was thinking about the OG. He's still doing the martial arts. What's your what's his name again?
Yeah, he a living legend.
The old man out of Queens.
Born in Harlem, originally from Queens. Cesar Abdul Mutakabir.
Right.
So we just had a seminar this past Saturday too. So the next seminar we do, I'll let you know.
In Atlanta?
I'll let you know the next one we do. Well, this one was in Atlanta, but the next one we do probably going to be in Queens. So I'll just make sure I let you know. So the next
one in Atlanta, we gotta come. You gotta let me know. We gotta come through so I could bring the boys, man, to check that out.
No doubt, I got you.
Yeah, appreciate the call, TJ.
All right, appreciate y'all.
All right, love. Yeah, that was tight. That was tight. Two good calls. Two good calls.
Davon, if you still on here, call me back, bro.
Well, welcome back, Will. That's the first time I heard.
Will behind the scenes working. I'm telling you, he working, man. But those are two good calls right there, man, for sure. Will, can you play that video right quick? Yeah, for sure.
In 1939, Margaret Sanger, co-founder of Planned Parenthood, started the Negro Project with the aim of slowing and then reversing the growth of the black population. A staunch advocate of eugenics, the so-called science of purifying the human gene pool, Sanger viewed certain races, especially blacks, as genetically inferior and inclined towards producing human weeds. Reckless breeders spawning human beings who never should have been born. Sanger's strategy, still followed by Planned Parenthood today, involved recruiting so-called progressive black leaders who were persuaded that slowing back birth rates was a key to their people's future success and prosperity. A profoundly disproportionate number of abortion clinics were placed near the inner cities. And since then, an equally disproportionate number of our African American population, more than 15 million, has been weeded out by abortion.
On this fundamental issue, I will not yield, and Planned Parenthood will not yield, because we know that what's at stake is more than whether or not a woman can choose an abortion. Choices about how we lead our lives.
As the most pro-abortion candidate in American history, Barack Obama will make sure this weeding continues. Say no to abortion. Say no to black genocide in the Negro Project. Say no to Barack Obama.
That's it, Will. Yeah, who we got on the line, man?
It's your cousin, man. Dave on.
What's
How y'all
up,
doing
cuz?
tonight?
What's up, cuz? We straight. We chilling. What's the word? What you got? What you want to add?
I listened to y'all conversation tonight, man. I listened to y'all conversation tonight. It was amazing. I usually listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson when I'm at work, but y'all definitely, your conversation was great tonight, man. That was good. But I wanted to add, man. First things first, to add on the Kurt point, man. I wouldn't build black nothing in no black neighborhoods. Nope. You want black people, build some laundromats in white neighborhoods. Build them in Chinese neighborhoods. Chinese build Chinese stores in black neighborhoods. They build all sorts of stuff in our neighborhoods and make money. No. Black people want to build something, build it in their neighborhoods and make money. That's what we should do. And I love Hitler too.
I
love Hitler.
I'm not mad. You know what? I'm not mad at that. I'm not gonna stop you from that. I'm not mad at that.
Word, Bill, and another thing too, there will never be another great black leader. There will never be another Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Nat Turner, nobody. You repeat, nope. If black people want black people to do better, you better do it yourself and look better as a whole. White people don't help white people.
No, yes they do.
White people don't help white people. They too selfish. No, they don't. White people do it on their own and they look good doing it as a whole. White people help themselves.
That white person gonna bring that other white person. They gonna hire that white person. They gonna pay that white person.
But the white person they hired has the credentials to get hired. That white person went to school to get the license. That white person, whatever show that he bumped into or whatever meeting room he had to be in, or if he had to be at the office 10 minutes early to get hired, white people do all of that stuff.
Nadia got some smoke. Nadia got some smoke for you.
Absolutely not. They do not. They don't go based off of merit. This whole idea of meritocracy is some shit that they created for us to feel.
White people do all that.
They don't.
Make sure they get the job.
You can hear her?
They hire their sons. They hire their family. They hire their kids that don't necessarily deserve to have those opportunities. They hire people. Can you not hear me?
He can't hear. Why he can't hear? Play it from your TV or something. You watching it still?
No, I'm at work. I'm on the phone listening. Hold on, I'll probably call on.
So why?
See if she can say something now.
Go ahead, Nadia. Finish.
Yeah, I was just saying, white people statistically, they do the same thing that most communities do, which they hire their own children, their own family members, and stuff like that. And they make us buy into this idea of meritocracy, meaning that you have to have the right.
Yeah, she's talking.
Yeah, I'm talking right now.
Okay. Yeah, I really can't hear her, man. I'm sorry.
All right, just hold on. I'll let you know when she's done.
Yeah, they sold this idea of meritocracy, meaning that we're supposed to be worthy of earning these said things and positions, when in reality, they've been giving each other these same businesses and opportunities, irregardless of if they have the credentials or not. If you're born into wealth, you usually stay into wealth, and that's not because you somehow are better or more certified in certain ways to have it. It's because, again, they do a good job of keeping their wealth amongst themselves and amongst their own families, and they do help each other regardless of if they're deserving or not. 100%.
Kurt, what you got, Kurt?
We gotta
figure out why you can't hear them, Davon.
A lot of jobs.
You can hear Kurt, you just can't hear her.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Kurt.
A lot of jobs, a lot of positions.
You hear Kurt?
Like I said, when I was in the military, it took me 13 years to accomplish the same grade that my counterpart, white man, took in 8. And it wasn't because he was more qualified. It was because all I could come up with is his race. You know, I went into the service in the deep South in South Carolina back in the 70s. And of course, that time, you know, when we talk about oppression,
Okay. Go ahead, Davon. What else you got?
So,
yeah, I just wanted to add on. I didn't really hear too much with Kurt and Ozark, so I heard Kurt a little bit.
Yeah,
but I was saying, man, and one more piece I wanted to add, there will never be another great black leader. It'll never happen.
Yeah, I don't.
It won't be.
We got Charleston White.
Oh, get the cat.
Yeah, no, he's not it. Definitely, you're trolling, BJ. I know you're trolling. but it'll never be another great black leader, man.
Umar Johnson.
Definitely not. Stop trolling, man. Stop trolling, BJ, man. The world.
Why
we
not?
live in.
What's wrong
It's
with
the world
Umar?
we live in.
Y'all niggas don't want to get them white girls up. That's the only reason why.
Doesn't Umar have a white girl?
Hell no. You crazy? Yeah, kill Umar.
I think he.
No, he doesn't, Davon. No.
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 I swear I thought I see something with him with a white chick.
No, he took a picture with a white chick before in the mall.
And I don't like no race. I don't like none of you motherfuckers. I don't like black people. I don't like white people. I don't like Spanish, Chinese. I don't like none of you motherfuckers. Word up.
I ain't mad at that.
I don't like none of y'all. All y'all niggas is terrible. Everybody out for self. Word, ain't nothing wrong with it either. I ain't tripping on it.
What you think? What you think?
I don't like no religions. I don't like none of them.
What you think is the solution for the black race, man? And lead us out with that. Final thought.
I said it earlier. The only way black people look good is to do the same thing that other races do. They look out for themselves. People make sure themselves is good first. You make sure you and your family is good first, then we will look good as a whole together. If every black family stayed together, mom, dad, and took care of their kids, that black family look good. Then the next black family look good. Then eventually the whole black race look good.
Take a page.
You don't need no extra help from somebody.
Right. Take a page from their blueprint.
Yeah, man. Work for yourselves. Everybody get your own in, and then we will all look good. Not trying to steal from each other, not trying to kill each other. And we ain't gonna never stop that though. We ain't gonna never, because we'll be quick to shoot down some other shit. I seen a black girl the other day. She got 40-something thousand for having a baby for this white couple, and they dragged her on the internet for flaunting the 40,000. Like, y'all crazy as hell. At least she got some bread. I know a lot of you niggas go to jail for nothing. They killed Dolph for $400. She made more bread doing that. But we kill people, but we'll kill her for that, eviscerate her, make her viral on the internet for that. Don't make none of these niggas viral for killing black people for the stupid shit they do. It's cool. It's cool to say free dirt. It's cool to say free somebody that's murderers and all that other shit, because that's just what we do.
Yeah, I ain't
4 or
with
5 rap songs.
I'm not with the free Dirt and the free Young Thug and all that. I wasn't with that neither. But appreciate the call.
It's weird.
Man. We about to sign out in the next 10 minutes, man. But keep tapping in, keep tapped in with us. Stay tapped in with us, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the show.
All right, one.
You know, 2.
Yeah. We gotta find out why he couldn't. Was it just him?
He heard Kurt.
He said a little bit. We said that from. We go through some comments. We got we go to 10:40, Will? Yeah, 10 more minutes? Okay. You had to get up early?
Burkina Faso.
Yeah. I don't even know why I asked that.
They don't think he's a good black leader?
Who?
Burkina Faso.
Yeah, but I guess they was talking about American. He's a great he's a great black leader. Great. He's great. At 34 years old, something like that, he's a problem. He's doing everything I'm saying. What Dre said?
Black folks don't own anything because black folks barely support black-owned businesses. And when black folks don't support his own, they most likely go out of business.
Dred, I need you to call in because I want to know who oppressed you and what system kept you down, because you came over here and couldn't speak English or nothing at 10, 11 years old. And right now you in a different tax bracket. So I would like to know where was the oppression at and the system at when you was down there in Florida as a Haitian immigrant in America who couldn't speak English. I want to know how did you break through? That's what I would like to know. Call in, bro.
He's not a black American. He's not a black American. He's a Haitian.
Right.
So that only pertains to black Americans?
No, they still have their own form of oppression that's different than what black Americans experience, and there's some similarities within that too.
No, I'm talking about the oppression. Okay, so he's in America.
Right.
10, 11 years old. His family moved over here. He's here.
Right.
Can't speak English, none of that, right?
Right. Correct.
So the same oppression that we're going through, he didn't go through?
Not the same. No, there's certain barriers that he
That's
has.
crazy.
There's certain barriers that he had that I don't have, like the language barrier and understanding cultural values that we have. Because I was born and raised into it versus being dropped into something entirely different. At the same time, I'm also acknowledging that he might experience some similarities, like when it comes to discrimination based off of color or whatever. That might be the same, but our experiences are unique and tailor made. Being a Black American and being an African who has been raised in America are not identically the same experience.
Nah, man, nobody said that. We're talking about the oppression.
I'm telling you, the oppression is not exactly the same. No, there's
Okay,
different
so
levels.
it's amazing how you guys could separate. You guys will sit here and separate
Dread.
because he hold on one second. Because he's not Black American, he didn't go through the same oppression or system that a Black American would, and I disagree with that.
I'm not saying that
I disagree with that. Hold on, I'm gonna let you go. I just waited for you to be finished.
No,
when he came over here,
go ahead.
oppression and systematic, whatever y'all saying is against us, it's not picking and choosing. It's going strictly by color of the skin. It didn't skip around him because he's a Haitian immigrant.
That's not what I'm saying, BJ.
What are
which
you
is why I'm
saying?
trying to stop you. Yes, he's experienced oppression as well. I'm not arguing against.
Okay, so that's all we talking about.
But it's not
It
the
shouldn't be
same
no but.
exact, it's not the same exact oppression. It's not the same exact discrimination. I don't have different cultural values. I was born into this culture versus someone being dropped into an entirely different culture
So
with different
give me
values.
a difference. Give me a difference.
Like they might it might even be a difference in like I was never called specifically this, but I don't even want to say what I was gonna say. But you might be called different names based off of the regions that you were. If you have like a different type of accent than me, I don't have a different accent than most Americans. I sound like I'm from Atlanta. That's what I sound like. If you sound differently, you might be treated differently. That's something that I have not experienced as a Black woman who's born and raised in America. And also different cultural values might make you have or experience different things, but he might be able to attest what I can't attest for. I'm not African purely. I'm not African who is raised in America. I'm just African American.
We got our Haitian brother on the line right now.
What I was saying, Dre, can you hear her?
I can't barely make out what she's saying though.
They might have to put the TV on or something because they can't hear them.
She sound
They can hear you.
sound real far away.
I think because we're speaking into the mics, but they can't hear them. Put the TV on or something, Dre, so you can hear her. Hear her.
I'm trying to make out what she's saying.
And
she
Kurt.
got some good points, but
but this is what I'm saying. This is what I would like to know. I wanted to know the difference. Name something you went through that would be a systematic block or some kind of oppression that you would go through as a Black American, because that's what you're saying. As a Black American, you're going to go through some systematic stuff, some oppression that he's not going to go through because he's a Haitian immigrant.
No,
and
I'm saying he might experience more because he's a Haitian immigrant. It might be different levels of what he's experiencing.
Okay, so you're saying he might experience more?
I'm saying that it's a possibility. I'm not 100%. Because what I'm saying again is I don't have different cultural values. I was born and raised into this culture, meaning this is all I know. I don't know something else. So I don't have to assimilate necessarily as much as maybe somebody else who's completely different in a different culture. That's a different type of assimilation that I don't have to experience, even though I do have to face some form of assimilation or the idea of trying to assimilate so I can have better opportunities as a Black person. Does that make sense?
Nah, everything you saying about that makes sense. The thing that don't make sense to me is you saying because he's an immigrant, African immigrant, Haitian immigrant or whatever over here, and because you was born here, y'all not gonna go through the same oppression and systematic
I'm saying
barrier.
we might and we may
Oh, so
not.
now you're saying you might.
We may or may not. Everybody's experience is different. But what I'm saying,
it doesn't even make sense for me to believe that if y'all telling me there's oppression and systematic barriers here for black people, why would it not be placed on him also?
He will, PJ. I'm not saying that he won't experience some of the same things, but I'm saying he
I thought
might
that's what you
experience
were
a
saying.
different level of more.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about him. At first you said
Can I elaborate on
you
something?
said he's not going to experience the same oppression and systematic stuff that you would. And I said, give me a difference. Give me something
and I just told you because of his cultural values, like maybe the way that he speaks, his
I'm talking about you.
you.
What would you go through systematically? What kind of oppression you would face that he's not going to face as a black person that he might not face?
Well, I think that's
what I was asking.
A little bit more critically. Go for it though.
Go ahead,
I
Kurt.
can give you an example. I can give you a perfect example. Don't you remember when they had that genocide in Africa where they were cutting off some Africa's arms? They gave when Americans got involved in there and brought them people over from Sri Lanka or Sierra Leone, they gave them people, them black people or African people, these big packages, $20,000, $50,000 to start up something.
Let me stop you. He's a Haitian immigrant for one. He's a Haitian immigrant. Came over here. Y'all gotta let me ask this question again, because y'all not answering the question. You are not answering the question. He's not, and we're not gonna waste time doing that. The question is, what is a systematic barrier or an example of oppression that he is not gonna face that you will face? Because he's in America. We don't need. Why we keep going to Africa and all this? Right here in America, what did you face as a black American that he may not face?
What I'm saying is these people are not, they're immigrants. They were from Sri Lanka. Though it wasn't Haitian, it was African. They were given economic security.
Kurt, this man right here is not from there. He's not from Africa. He's a Haitian immigrant who came over here, didn't speak English, didn't speak a lick of English, went through the same. I said, what was the oppression of barriers he had to face to be where he is right now today? And y'all said, well, Nadia said, oh, he because he's a Haitian, well, she said African immigrant, but he's Haitian. Because he's a Haitian immigrant, he's not going to face the same barriers and oppression that a black American will. So I am asking you as a black American, Kurt, what oppression or systematic barriers you will face that he won't face right here in America?
I wasn't ever given any amount of funds to start nothing. I was never given no $100,000 to start because I'm here. A lot of immigrants that came from Sri Lanka during the time when they had all of them, they was cutting off their arms and they were being oppressed. They brought them here to America and
you don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yes, I do.
I'm gonna let him respond though. I'm gonna let him respond. You feel like he was giving money to start something?
I'm not saying. I'm saying you talking about one individual. I'm talking about.
Yeah, let's stay on this individual. That's what it started, Kurt. Because that's what I'm saying. You don't have to know him. Y'all don't have to know him. See, this the problem. Y'all be saying stuff and y'all really be talking out your ass.
Why one individual? You talking about one individual?
I'm talking about you as one individual and him as one individual. Let's talk about that because I don't have time to fact check you about Africans. I never heard of no African coming over here getting 100,000. I know the Asians get money. I know some Arabs, the Arabs. I know they do all the other immigrants like that. I never heard about Africans getting any kind of money to go anywhere. Never. So I don't even want to fact check that. I want to stay on what I asked and what I was talking about. This man is a Haitian immigrant, came over here 10, 11 years old, couldn't speak English, and he's at a point where he's at right now in a total different tax bracket. I said, what's the oppression and the systematic barriers that he faced? And y'all made it seem like he's not going to face the same thing you're going to face because you're a black American and he's a Haitian immigrant.
Just like you can't fact check what I'm saying, I can't fact check that he didn't get some kind of stimulus money when he came here.
Man, Go ahead, bro.
I don't know if the government gave him some money when they came here during the uprising in Haiti. You don't know what he was given.
Go ahead, Dred.
Nah, they definitely didn't give me $1. So, nah, they ain't give me $1. All I knew that when we in Haiti, they teach us that America is a place where it's a lot of opportunity. And with that being said, that the sky is the limit. So when we all come here, the first thing we think about is how can we feed back home? So if we got to live here and feed home, a regular job ain't going to cut it. You know, so you talking about 14 years old, I'm learning how to, you know, fix something so I can fix everybody else's. So I started my own. I'll pick up someone who threw away a lawn.
Who taught you that,
Learn
though?
how to fix that.
Who taught you that at 14 years old?
At 14, you just got to find somebody that's doing it and go watch them and ask them questions.
Wait, well, you came over here. How old was you when you came over here?
Yes, I was 9.
You was 9?
Matter of fact, I went to a place called Belgrade, and you know, I ain't never even knew that I was black until I moved to Belgrade. And it's a black area, to be honest with you, because then I found out that blacks didn't like black.
Come on, man.
So
that's oppression. That's oppression right there in your face. You didn't even realize you was black till you came to America.
It was definitely something. We probably even had over 50 white people in Belgrade. If they was white, they live in a little small town called White Town, and they was the teachers at the school. So, you know, it was African American who made me knew that I was black and I was Haitian. I wasn't accepted. You know what I mean?
Your own black people.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, bro.
But
I want to know all the systematic barriers and oppression that you face coming up from 9 years old. I ain't cutting you off no more.
All right, so we got here. I think I'm probably a few days away from my 10th birthday. I think I'm going to start 3rd grade. They told me, hey, your Haiti education don't matter up to American education. All right, cool, fair. So I had to start from behind. So you got to learn everything over America, from speaking French to learning English and the whole 9, and then learning a whole new culture as well. I never forget the story, man. The first day of my 3rd grade year, an American girl walked up to me and said something in English. Of course, I don't understand what she said. And I just shook my head and said, yeah. Next thing you know, it's about 5 guys jumping me.
Black or white?
Right. So, black. All black. I told you, we ain't had white.
No. I want to be specific. I just want to be specific.
Yeah, all black kids.
Okay.
And you got to know, I ran back up the stairs. I was like, damn, man, you know what that was about? You know what I mean? So I had asked my dad the next day. And then for the first 6 months, all I did was fight to try to find a way to get on that bus without being jumped. All because some 9-year-old black kid saying that you Haitian, you're not accepted. That's fine.
Not the white man or none of that.
No.
Okay.
You know, I hear people say that a lot here in the States about the white man stopping you from doing something. See, that's not my excuse. I think you're meant to. I think you stop you from being whatever you want to be at in this country. Remember, we learned that this country is a place of opportunity.
Yep.
It's going to be some barriers because, of course, being black and Kirk, I ain't never got $1 for nobody, man. I watched my dad work the cane fields for 40 years in his life from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
That's slavery.
When you see that, it makes you want more.
That's slavery.
And I remember my dad going to buy me some Payless at 12, 13 years old. I said, man, I can't wear that to school. I'm already getting picked on already because I'm Haitian. I can't wear that. He said, well, I can't afford no more than $40. I said, don't worry about it, Dad. I'll start making some money. From there, I found me a used lawnmower somebody threw away. My neighbor was a mechanic. I asked them how to work on something. He showed me a few steps. I worked that lawnmower and cut grass for $5. I always had a business mentality because remember this, you got to feed home and take care of yourself. So 9 to 5 ain't going to never cut it, man. So from there, all you got to do is just like, hey, man, I kind of like this feeling. So, of course, by the time we graduate and I go get me a job, I started realizing my call was not to work for nobody. I preach this to everybody that I ever meet now. I don't like seeing people working for people. Now, don't get me wrong, starting somewhere is starting somewhere, you know. But if I work for a company for 2 years and I can work that job great, my mentality, if I could do it for them, I could do it for myself. So we opened up our first store when we was like 17, 18 years old. Now that's not even 6 years in the state, barely even still speak any English that good. And from there, that's it.
You know, I worked Walmart for 2 years and realized, man, I'm a sorry ass employee. Don't get it wrong. I'm a great worker. I'm just a sorry ass employee. Can't make it to work on time. No matter what time they told me to get to work, I'm gonna be there 2 hours later. And that's just the truth. And so at the end of the day, I had to realize, man, this is not my calling. And I preach to all my brothers now, man, if you working a job, that's not the end game. I think when you're thinking about like being financially free, no man gonna ever pay you enough for you to ever overcome a day when you're just gonna overcome and say, forget this job, I'm rich. So you can work and have your hustle. I'm a businessman. I'm 44, and I think I don't own a few businesses here, man. We own some mom and pop stores. That's why I was laughing earlier about black folks owning things. But if black people don't support, he's still gonna run out of business. So that was our first failed business as a family. And I'm probably about 17. My brother 19. He opened up a little store. You know, we were selling mom and pop store. We had to close that down a few years later. Then finally, after I left Walmart, man, I started off at the flea market, man, selling bootleg Jordans. Man.
Yo, why y'all had to close? Why y'all had to close y'all store down?
Nobody's supporting it like that.
Damn, black people don't support black people.
Not that barely, and that's one of the main problems. Now, I heard y'all say black people don't own shit, but there's a lot of black people that actually try to open up businesses, man. It just fails. You know what I mean? But what I learned, they don't just open it just for black. You should own a business that all races need. I own a heat and air company now. You can't tell me not one of the races that don't need comfort in their house. Right? But if you just go on target just for black, you might fail for real. You might fail for real. But that doesn't mean because you black, you should still work because black folks not supporting your business. Start something, man. I tell everybody, in my household, me and my wife right now, well, it's my girl. I'm not Texan married the way Americans married, but you know, she owns a law firm. I own a heat and air business. I couldn't just get along with a woman that just strictly says, I'm going to work a job for the rest of our life. We're not going to build no, what you call it? Some financial
generational wealth.
Generational wealth is what I'm looking for. That's the word. You know, so I like my black folks to start thinking like, yeah, we're gonna work this job, but what's the end game? Because if you own a business like you do now, BJ, you teach Eli the ropes. He carries that business. You might never get to see the day where you own 50 trucks, but Eli might. And if Eli don't, then his grandson might. We gotta teach the kids the values of continuing our business. And I always use General Ford and the guy who actually started Walmart, saying that he probably never seen maybe $1 million in that profit, right?
The Walmart family.
The Walmart family did.
Yep.
We got to start somewhere. As long as our mindset is working, we're still in slavery. When you start owning something, and I knew for a fact I never wanted to work for nobody else after that. I was working Walmart making $800 working Walmart for a 2 weeks period of time. My first business on my first day, I made $800 just that day, and I cried. And I said I never work for nobody else again.
But let me ask you this: what you had the language barrier you had to overcome. Do you think there's a systematic oppression or systematic barrier or oppression that keep black people from being successful?
Nope. I haven't seen it yet. I'm 44. I done bought 3 homes. I don't bought
That's
3
crazy.
homes. I done opened up like 2 businesses.
That's crazy.
I mean, I haven't seen it yet. If it is, maybe Kurt might be correct. Maybe they just
Nadia and Kurt ain't gonna like that shit.
They ain't gonna like maybe the first thing he think I lead with is I'm Haitian, and they're like, oh yeah, he's not black then, so he's Haitian.
It's something about self-employed black men that's saying the same thing.
No, don't get me wrong now. BJ, don't get me wrong. You're going to have a little bit of obstacle, but that don't mean you should not own no business. I think we fail ourselves when we keep saying the same thing over and over again, saying this white man won't allow us to do that. Man, you can go ahead and get you an LLC today for $100. You can get a free EIN number, for nothing. So if the library is open, we got a phone in our hand. That's the World Wide Web in your hand at all second of the day. You own it. Most people spend time just going through TikTok. I look for information. Right now, if I really wanted to right now, Within the next few months, I say I want $500,000. My business is capable of getting me that as a loan. So I
No,
mean,
wait.
I
Say
had
that
to
again.
figure out-
Wait.
hold on,
Hold. Say that again because Nadia said we can't get
my
loans
business.
and stuff.
I did not say we can't get no
That's all
loans.
right.
Boy,
Always
you don't
mention,
go to hell.
he always
Boy,
mistake about what
always
somebody else
mistaken.
might
No,
have
Nobody,
no,
said.
no. Because
nobody
I'm gonna tell
talk.
you this. I'm
No,
gonna tell you this.
no.
I'm gonna tell you this. You know what I
Hell
I'm
learned?
just
no.
playing.
I
She ain't say that. Go ahead.
I learned we are great
Nadia.
listeners, but we don't do the things they do.
You
We
about
don't
to
spend
make me
enough time
spaz, boy.
reading, so we can get the same benefits they get. We don't spend
You
enough
sure?
time researching.
You sure? You sure it's possible that we could get the same benefits that white people get? You sure?
As a business owner, when they look at most business documents don't even have the business owner name on it, unless you know what you're doing and you go look up the organization and see who owns it. If I tell you my company is called Good Deed Home Service right now, how you know it's a black man that owns that business or not?
Nadia turning red.
And if I go open it up and stand it up in New York, how you know it's a black man who owns that business?
That's a fact.
Unless you come to Georgia and you look at the corporation site and go look up that business and see that it's owned by a guy named Ilio, and then you got to look up Ilio and see if he's black or white. When it's business, when you're doing business, both white folks, when you're doing good business and you know what you're doing, they don't look at color. Now, maybe when I start reaching 5 million, 10 million, and getting into the pictures, maybe I can see the stuff that they're talking about. But to make your family of $500,000 to $1 million family, I don't think you're gonna get no oppression at all. But I can't speak for nothing else. Maybe guys like Jay-Z could say something better.
Hey, what about the pressure from your wife, man? How she become a lawyer in all of this? With all this oppression and systematic barriers set for black people.
Now he
We on
about to
a
make
we,
me
we got a
mad.
law
He
firm
about
now.
to
We
make
ain't
me
handle talk, and
mad.
we doing
Boy,
business
How was
just
she
as
able?
anybody else doing
How
business.
was she able? And how old is she again?
AI.
How old? Hold on, y'all.
That's
Hey,
artificial intelligence.
listen. All I'm saying is, when we have some positive black people, successful black people that can speak on some positive, successful things, we gotta hear them out too, man.
BJ,
We gotta hear them out too.
the epitome of oppression. You'll give somebody else 10 minutes to speak
How the hell I become that? How? I'm
unaffected.
showcasing my brother. I'm
BJ will
highlighting
give
my brother's
somebody speak
success.
for
What's
10
up, bro?
minutes without any interruption.
check
But
this
Kurt
then
out.
is a negative
somebody else,
Nancy.
anytime it's somebody else's turn, BJ is in the middle of everybody's narrative before they can even finish their narrative, except his.
No,
He will talk
I'm not even gonna
on
say
and
nothing
on
after
and
this.
on,
I want y'all to
on and on.
respond to what he's saying. I'm not saying nothing else after this. I'm just glad I got someone else up here that sound similar to what I'm saying and is
Right.
successful
So
in
you
real
allow
life.
that narrative to go, but any other narrative you want to interject your thought because it doesn't fit your narrative.
No. I don't care about narratives. Go ahead, bro.
Hey,
No,
everybody
it's
speak on
somebody
something.
else's turn to talk. But I'm just saying, like when I heard Nadia talk, by the time she get about 2 sentences in, there is BJ.
That's a lie. I've been letting y'all talk.
BJ,
I've been letting y'all talk all night, bro. I've been letting y'all talk. I've been
you
sitting
tell
here,
us
and
talk.
Kurt, you go for like 10 minutes, bro. Like that's why I be
No,
having
I
to cut
don't.
y'all off.
I'm looking at the time every time I may make 2 minutes.
You right, Kurt. You right. Let me let him finish, and you'll go next. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, BJ, you know what I think though? What our excuses are?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us take somebody else's experience like it's our own. Meaning, you got a friend who tried to buy a house and he come back and says, "Hey man, that process too hard. These white folks won't let us have nothing, man. They don't let me close on this property." But what they don't tell you is that they stuff didn't come through, they finance didn't come through, they probably lied on some paperwork.
Yep.
But the majority of the people, the same folks that's saying that they get some kind of oppression against them, you ask them how. Have you ever tried to buy a property? Have you ever tried to run a business? They probably don't even have that experience on their own because they wouldn't even speak like that if they actually tried it. Because when I tried to buy my house, I didn't feel like anything anybody else told me. I'm not going to take their experience and make it be mine. I remember my first time I tried to go get my gun permit, my boy said, "Man, you ain't going to get that shit, man. They give you hell, man. Black folks can't own no gun." I took that damn thing and I had driving around the states for years without a gun permit because I thought it was that hard. But one day I said, "Let me go try it myself, man." Not even 20 days later, my permit came in the mail. A lot of people speaks on experiences they hear from others.
Yeah, it's gonna be another black person to tell you what you can and can't do, what the white man ain't gonna let you do.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're going off others' experience and not theirs. So, Kurt, when you're saying oppression thing, you have to tell me, man, what exactly was that you tried to do that somebody stopped you from doing it?
As I said, I spent 15 years in the Marine Corps. It took me 15 years to reach the rank that I got where the white counterpart took 8. That's pay grade and the whole 9 yards. I just had to work twice as hard, kept my head down, and continue to do do what I'm supposed to do. I just did my job. And I did my job according to how I was trained to do it. I eventually got to that pay grade, but my counterpart, it only took him 8 years. It took me 15. See, the difference between what I mean by, I'm not saying that oppression prevents you from accomplishing what you will. I'm saying it's an obstacle in the way in which you progress in this life. And it's there. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm also not saying, that should stop you from being able to accomplish something. We all can become, I retired early. I'm never going to work for another person again in my life because I'm going to have my own. Because that's my hustle. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never getting ready to let somebody dictate to me how much I can or cannot make. You know what I'm saying? But by the same token, everybody don't have that same option out there. They got to fight through the oppression. They gotta do what they gotta do in order to succeed. There is obstacles in the way. It's not obstacles that you can't either go under, go over, go around, whatever you got to do to get around. You can do it. I've seen BJ do it. I was with him when he did it. I seen him down there on the ground grinding. Am I right or wrong, BJ?
Facts.
So I'm not saying that, I'm not going to say it doesn't exist because it does. And it's been in existence since the invent of the American dream. You know what I'm saying? What has happened, though, is that it has been beating on our people so much that they can exceed that they don't. They allow themselves to be, it's among the elite. It's a saying that says if you tell a lie long enough, loud enough, and consistent enough, then the truth can no longer be conceivable. They told us that we was niggas and that we was dumb and that we couldn't succeed for so many hundreds of years that a lot of us that wasn't understanding what the program was. That's what they attributed to. That's why you got these brothers out here calling each other niggas. That's why you got these brothers out here hurting each other over the same stuff they can get out and get for themselves. Because they have subscribed to that stupid mentality. But what's the fix? We got to fix ourselves.
What up?
And how we gonna fix ourselves if we don't talk to each other? If we don't understand?
You want a successful business.
You got to meet people where they are.
You can't hear Kurt, bro?
I can answer you.
Oh.
But also, I have a comment to make on that part too.
Go ahead, Nadia.
I think a good part that we aren't talking about.
You can hear her, Dre?
Can you hear me?
I'm about to send the TV up. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So essentially what I'm saying, though, is that the connotation that we have amongst different immigrants can make your experience better or worse. Now, I'm not specifically focusing on Haitians specifically, but the barriers that maybe African Americans have are the perception of like, oh, you guys are all thieves or this and that, whatever. That might not be perceptually put on you because we don't look at all immigrants the same. We don't look at Asian immigrants the same as we look at we don't look at Asian immigrants the same way we look at other communities or European black or British black immigrants. We don't look at them the same as we necessarily look at Black Americans. That connotation that's placed on you might give you an easier route or easier experience, I guess, opposed to somebody that's just born and raised into that society. Also, I agree completely with Kirk. I don't believe that there is something that we can't do, but I do think that it's a lot more difficult for us to meet those same success marks as our opposing counterparts because we're discriminated against. And so it's not saying that, oh, you can't be great, you can't be excellent, but it's more so of that will be more challenging for you. And when you don't acknowledge that, it's like you're kind of invalidating a lot of Black people's experiences, which I don't believe in doing. But also as well, something that I attest to is that I think we just have to do better, and as a realizing that I don't really buy into everybody needs to be a CEO or own their own things. Because the question I have for you or for anybody that has a Black owned business is you need people to work underneath you. You need other people that believe in the vision that you have. It's okay to be a worker for someone else, but it's more so about building that work within our own community so that we can all be successful. Because everybody can't be a CEO, and that's okay. But more so, we need to make it a more feasible situation where people who are going into these businesses or that are CEOs are making it available for their workers and the people in their community to have success, even if they are not CEOs as well. Because my dad owns a business and Black people work underneath him and he treats those Black people well. Everybody ain't going to be a CEO. That's okay.
All right. You got anything else to say, bro? Cause we about to head out. Will is asleep, y'all. Will is asleep.
That's his bedtime.
Will said he got scheduled, man.
Will did a triple shift today. Go ahead, Dre. My bad. 1 second, Dre. And I agree with that part, Nadia. Everybody can't be CEOs. It's not enough room for everyone to be a boss. Someone has to work. Some people gonna work, and some people gonna be business owners. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with that. Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with it as well. It'd be a madhouse if everybody working.
Facts.
Was on the business. But BJ, you own the business though, BJ. Just answer me. What kind of pressure you felt when you first started up your trucking business, and still today as you running?
None. I didn't feel no oppressions or systematic barriers before I even owned the business. I keep saying everything I wanted to do. When the idea popped in my mind, I just did it. I didn't even know it was especially young. I didn't know it was when I was a teenager. I didn't know it was a systematic barrier and oppression and all that shit. I was oppressed by my people.
You also didn't know that Blacks used to have to sit at the back of the bus either because you never seen
No,
it.
I knew that. I knew that.
But how did you know if you never?
We find that out in kindergarten. You know what I mean? We knew that. That didn't affect me anywhere. Cause the same way y'all act like that was such a great thing that we had a Montgomery bus boycott. That didn't do nothing but destroy the bus transportation line, the Black-owned bus transportation line we had. Black bus lines went out of business because we wanted to sit with the white man. So I'm not a fan of that anyway.
We just wanted to sit on the bus wherever we sat.
I don't care about sitting on the bus. We should have stayed on the black bus.
We
should have stayed segregated, and we should have stayed riding the black bus.
There's 14% of us, BJ. That's the reality of the situation. As much as we want to sit there, I do believe in it.
I feel you on that one. Martin Luther King walked us right into that burning house.
But I feel like we shouldn't have been treated different because I want to sit on a bus. If I want to sit on the bus, let me sit on the bus. I'm going to sit on the bus.
By all means, Kurt, sit on a bus, baby.
I don't care who bus it is. If I want to sit down and that's my means of transportation, should nobody be able to tell me after I put my money in there where I should or should not sit?
Okay.
It's just like you. No matter where you buy your truck from, you should be able to buy a truck, right?
No.
It's the same difference. It's the same mentality. Nobody. It ain't about sitting on their bus. It's about sitting on the transportation that I'm using, that I'm paying for. If I'm paying for it, then let me sit down. I'm gonna sit down. There's seats here, and if I want to sit next to him, I don't give a. If he don't want to sit next to me, get the fuck up and go. But I paid for me a seat. Why should I go to a theater to look at, say, a play at the opera, and I got to sit all the way in the back in the nosebleed where I can't hear or see nothing, and I paid the same amount of money as the next person? You know, that's all that's about. It's not about because it was a white man's bus. It had nothing to do with that. It was a white man's bus before it was a black bus station. And if I'm paying the same amount of money, I want to be able to sit in any seat I want to sit
I
in.
think Kurt muted.
Nah, he talking. You just don't hear him.
You know,
I
that's
hear him.
all
He
I'm
ain't
saying.
talking about nothing.
But also, it's like it goes back to a deeper root of socioeconomic status and the bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Hey
serious.
man, let me tell you, man. I would say this. This is my final thought. Oh, she's speaking. Oh.
Yeah, cause we had it now. Oh, it's a delay. Go ahead, and then we gonna let you go, and then we gonna finish up with Kurt and Nadia. Go ahead, right quick, bro.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I've been in business now for over 20 years, right? And I remember when I wanted to move away from retail and selling things, and I went to heat and air school. And I left school, and I'm like, dang, they tried to put me up the job to work at Coca-Cola, and I said, I don't want to work there. They were like, nah, they asking for you, one of the ice kids in here, and when we like you, we want to send you to Coca-Cola. I said, nah, but I want to start my own business. You know, I don't like working for people. And the white guy that was in class said, you know what? It's hard for you if you go out there and try to start the way you're just getting out of school. You're not qualified. But he said, I'm going to talk to you after class. When we got out of class that day, he pulled me over to the side, and the white man gave me nearly $10,000 worth of tools and said, man, you know what? I believe in you.
I know damn well you ain't just say a white man gave you $10,000 worth of tools.
Yeah, he did. Still today, 20 years. Well, I started in 2013. Still today, I got a lot of those tools that I started off with, and it came from a white man. But
how many black people
today, man,
that a white
I
man
truly believe we are all capable. Black folks are very powerful, man. We're capable of doing anything. And the brother that called earlier, man, I think what we're missing the community that ain't got no love, bro.
Facts, TJ.
You hear me? Yeah, I think we're in a community that ain't got no love, man.
Yeah,
And
we hate each other.
We are on downfall.
That's a fact.
We are on downfall.
And like he said, he had reached out to me a couple of days ago, for a move he trying to make, and he need like references that he needed my information, my company information and stuff. And I'm talking about like he texted me and I just sent them right to him. It wasn't no, yo, you know, what's this about? What you doing? Or he like, yo, bro, I might need you. Da 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 da. I was driving. I was like, yo, just send me the info. What you need? You know what I mean? Just tell me what you need. He like, man, he sent me the joint, and I just answered the joint for us, send it right back within 2 minutes. That's how it's supposed to be, bro. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we're on downfall. I'm saying right now, I go to a lot of hoods doing heat in the air right now. Why do I feel like my life is in more danger when I go down there to the West End? But I feel like I'm great off when I'm in Alpharetta.
You know why? You know why?
Yeah, them people down in College Park ain't got no money.
Literally,
somebody
boy.
stopping us. And I think the mind doesn't understand half of that. And the moment you start thinking about, the white man gonna stop me from doing something, you already defeated yourself anyway, bro.
That's 100%, bro. And you gotta have a different mentality to live the life that you live, to live the life that we'll live, and live the life that I live right now. You know what I'm saying? There was a beginning where we was at the bottom, and it was just a thought in our mind. And to take you back to that thought in your mind, before you are who you are now, you will. If you could go back to that thought of, man, I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? I want to open up this CNA school. I want to do my own HVAC joint. I'm gonna go own me some trucks. It was a thought never crept in my mind that there's a systematic barrier that may hinder me, or there's some kind of oppression that may hinder me. It was never that thought in my mind. Now, mind you, it never came across. I'm thinking, I'm actually taking myself back to when I first came home from prison, and I was hollering at my man, and he told me about, he like, yo, you a hustler, nigga, go get you a truck. And that's all I need to hear. And what he made his first year with his first truck, that's all I need to hear. So The only barriers I had was when I finally got my CDL, because it took me 5 times to pass the test because I was bullshitting in school. So when I finally got my CDL, I thought I won. Nobody hired me, bro. I'm talking about I went to the bottom of the barrel, Swift Transportation, where they pay you like 30 cents a mile. I went to them. Nobody would hire me because of my convictions, my felonies, my background, and because it was so fresh. Nobody gave me a shot. And it kind of put me in the depression mode until I called my uncle, who was getting out of the trucking industry after 8 years, going into real estate. He made all his bread. And I'm calling him, and this is exactly what he said. Nigga, you ain't called me when you was in them streets selling all that dope and shit. You ain't called me and was scared and was worried about this, that, and the third. Don't call me about this shit. Go get you a truck and get out there. That's exactly what he told me, bro. And that's exactly what I did. You know what I mean? It wasn't no systematic. It wasn't no systematic barrier, oppression, or none of that. It was just me and my own thoughts, worry. You know what I'm saying? And then the next barrier was I didn't have no experience. So when the companies that did say, "Oh, okay, we'll work with you, your background, whatever. We just need to talk to your probation and this and the third, your parole." Oh, you don't have no experience. We can't hire you. You need at least a year experience. I'm fresh out of school. All these barriers, you know what it did, Dre? It forced me to get my own shit. Start my own business. Fresh out of school. Fresh out of school. And I watched videos of people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't own your own business." People actually was telling me, "Nah, I wouldn't do that, bro. Cause man, you don't know nothing. You just gonna be out there. You don't know nothing." Man, I jumped out there, bro, 8 years ago, and I'm still here. You know what I mean?
But guess what?
6 trucks later.
Will text me the other day about almost 1 o'clock in the morning. And you know, my boy told me, "Hey, Dre, what's up with it? He in ass school." You know what I text him? I said, "Boy, I've been thinking about that. You read my mind. Now we're working on that." You know, nice time to teach some people that want to, you know, learn this trade. It wasn't
no conversation of we might not be able to do this, we might not be able to do that.
Man, that's for the mind who want to defeat itself. I told you, I don't think like that. I don't think like that. If you think like that, you already beating yourself already. You might as well say, you know, you just living. You're not even existing. I mean, you're supposed to try to break every barrier that they put in front of you anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember I had my dreads and my goatee, straight Florida Haitian ass guy, man. You know, when I was
looking like a straight nigga.
Yeah, they told me that I wouldn't succeed. They told me I wouldn't succeed opening up my business. I laughed because the school closed down for financial problems within 8 months after I left, and I'm still succeeding 13 years later. But you know what the thing was? I looked at all of them and they're like, "Man, look, Coca-Cola wants you, man. But you know, you think you can cut the dreads off and, you know, clean up a little bit?" I said, "Let me tell you something, nigga, I'm doing healing air." You think if I pull up to somebody's house and it's 95 degrees outside and their house is 90 degrees, you think they're going to turn me around if I'm coming to fix their air conditioning? I said, "Man, that stuff y'all telling me is crazy." I said, "And besides, I told you I don't want to go to Coca-Cola and work. I want to go work for myself." So at the end of the day, man, you only going to go as far, you know, as you picture it, man. I mean, ain't gonna lie, my first 2 weeks, I thought I ain't gonna make $1. I got up every morning being like, "Damn, I ain't getting that one call yet." You know, started being a little shaky a little bit, but you know, I started saying to myself, "Nigga, you get up and you just sitting down, laying around." I said, "Get dressed." I said, "Man, God put things in front of you when you're ready for it, when you prepare for it." I started getting dressed, man, and my goal was to make $150 a day. Nowadays, I can go to work for about 5 hours, and I probably still make me probably about $3,000. So, but you know, like I said, man, America is the land of opportunity, man. It depends how far you want to go. Make every experience that you talk about. If you say somebody stopped me from doing something, make sure you got the receipt to say when you did it and they stopped you from doing it. Because I don't think nobody around me that I know for a fact, if they had an idea, somebody else gonna stop it from doing it. Now, when you start reaching maybe a couple millions in your bank account, and you saying, "Man, these folks won't give me this $1 billion, you know, contract because I'm black," I might believe you then. But for you to tell me that you can't go nowhere right now because ain't no white man making no phone call to say that you can't have something. You ain't nobody to him. You no threat to him. I'm not. Yeah. As much business that I have, I still ain't stopping some of these big guys like Cool Ray from making their money. It's money out there to be made, man. So everything else is the excuses that you're building in your own mind. That's all, bro. You guys have a good night.
Hey, appreciate you. And look, hey, all that Will calling you 1 in the morning and all, y'all niggas don't leave me out that shit. I don't know what y'all niggas thinking about. Will ain't say shit to me about no HVAC school. I don't know what y'all ain't about to leave me off that train. Shit.
I swear it was about 12:40. I'm like, damn, Will's still up. And that nigga read my mind because I've been saying to myself, I'm tired of going in them damn attics and crawl spaces, man. And all my heating and air instructors telling me, but you need to go ahead and start teaching it. And Will called me. He already know the ropes of starting the school. And I already know the ropes of, teaching the trade. Yeah. So that's perfect.
That's God, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And I embraced it. And guess what? Maybe in a year from now when this broadcast still running, and guess what? We're gonna say, man, that school is open now.
That's a fact.
It's what you want to do. That's all it is. It's all you want to do, man. And you're the only person that can stop it, man. Nobody else gonna stop you. Believe it. The state will definitely give you a license to open up a business. And if you want to become that lawyer, that school, and as long as you can go get it, become that lawyer that you want to be, man. You know what I mean? Everything else is just nonsense, bro.
I appreciate you too, man. Eli just texted me and said he going to work with you tomorrow too, so I appreciate you too, bro.
I told him drop off to me. I'm taking him. I got him.
That's what's up. I'll hit you in the morning.
All right. No. All right. Hey, have a good night.
Love.
Nadia, don't feel
Take us out, Nadia. Kurt, take us out.
They in a right-wing ecosystem,
We building black community. Nadia, we building black communities over here, man.
Nah, I mean, I'm grateful to hear that y'all guys have found success in your own. But I absolutely don't. That doesn't discourage me because I know the realities of the situation. I know even if we're not talking about career goals, let's just say career-wise, cool, you feel like there's no barriers. That doesn't change the barriers that you see in healthcare. That doesn't change the things that you see in education as well, which you can clearly see based off of certain schools where there's certain percentages of kids that are not getting into it. And it's not because they're not qualified or they don't meet merit, but because they don't have the same academic resources as other people. And I think, again, you guys kind of twist this ideology that I'm saying you can't do anything. You can do things. It's just at certain points you're going to experience obstacles that your counterpart ain't going to experience at all. So you can overlook them, absolutely. And if that makes you feel better and that makes it easier for you in the progress of your life, do that. But me personally, I don't think that it's possible to limit any of those things if you're not able to acknowledge that they even exist. That's just the reality. But for me personally, I can speak and attest to the fact I have sickle cell anemia. I was born with that, and I've experienced what it's like to not have a lot of resources in comparison to like other diseases or other things. Like, for instance, like cancer. Cancer affects more often people who are white than sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is considered something that is a primarily Black/Hispanic type of disease. And in the beginning of my lifetime, I experienced that I was treated different in healthcare, 100%. They didn't believe me when I said I had pain. They didn't believe me when I said I needed things that I needed. And over time, that has changed because of advocacy that people in my community had made. But there was a barrier, 100%. And I acknowledge that. And the only reason that it's changing is because more people advocated for that change to happen. So, yeah, I agree. We can do whatever we want to do. Things are getting better all the time. But if you don't acknowledge that there's a problem to begin with, you cannot change things. And that's one way that I can attest to. I can't attest anything about trucking, none of that. So, yeah.
Us having that conversation wasn't about proving you wrong. It wasn't about proving you wrong. It wasn't about any of that. Us having, for the most part, the only reason why we would have a conversation like that, especially on any kind of platform, is to push our people. Is to push our people to do it. Get out there and do it. It ain't to prove Nadia wrong or Kurt wrong. It's to tell them, man, fuck that shit. Go do it, because that's what we went through. We not saying it's not there, but we don't see it. We not even looking for it. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gonna tell us what we can't do. We gonna do
all
it.
I'm saying is you all are right.
We gotta push our people. We have to. We can't keep giving them excuses. That's the problem right now. They got excuses. They have too many excuses, and they'll just sit there. Because I grew up with my people, so I'm able to speak on this. I grew up in the low income Section 8 housing and all that, the projects, all that. I'm there with my people. I just was never one of the kids or one of the teenagers, and I believe I got that from my mother, because my mother wasn't one of them that was drinking and using drugs and not working. And I was in private school, living in low income housing, Section 8 housing. My mother had us in private school, you know what I'm saying? That she paid for out of her pocket as a city worker. So it wasn't.
She said you used to be a genius. She don't know what happened.
Yeah, I used to be a genius. I know what happened. I chose to be a street nigga. That's it. It wasn't no white man that came. I had mentors. I worked for Al Sharpton, Reverend Floyd Flake. I was around millionaires when I was 17 years old. I was bored there. The excitement was in the streets, and I know these young boys are excited by the streets. It's excitement. Nothing else more than excitement to do the wrong shit. Adrenaline rush. Freedom. It's the freedom of waking up, not doing nothing but what you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Being a rebel.
What I'm saying,
when we speak on what we speak on, it's not to prove any of y'all wrong. We're going to continue to push our narrative of we could do whatever we want. Black people could do whatever they want. Just do it. And it was something else you said. I lost my train of thought.
let me say this. I'm not saying your narrative is wrong. Let's use an example. There's a 200-yard dash. One people is running the 200-yard dash. When you get to that 50-yard dash, the 50-yard part of it, you're going to have a hurdle. Understand you're going to have the hurdle. Understand that you can still do this. You can still succeed, but you're going to have some hurdles along the way. It's not like you can't accomplish what you will. A prolific prophet from the Moore Science Temple said, "Up you mighty race and accomplish what you will." That's anything you do. And I don't care what kind of obstacles you had. I had obstacles in my life. I went to jail, and my last job, what was I making down there? $45 an hour, making parts for a nuclear submarine, coming out of prison. So, I had obstacles that I had to overcome. I'm well retired and living comfortably. You know what I'm saying? But that's not going to stop me from accomplishing what I have to. You know what I'm saying? But to deny that the hurdles exist is to blindfold your people, because when they start running that race to success and they reach that obstacle, if they don't know that it's there, they're going to stumble over it.
Exactly.
A lot of people ain't going to have the resources, economic or educational resources, to be able to recover like BJ or myself.
I didn't have no resources, Kurt. So I don't even know why you put me there.
What I mean by resources, I'm not talking necessarily about money. You had somebody that told you, "Hey, you a hustler, man. Go and drive you a truck."
That ain't no resource.
That is a resource.
That's support, and everybody don't have support.
That ain't so. Every nigga in jail tell everybody that. Everybody's a hustler in jail and all that. Everybody. It's the fact of who he told that to. It's the fact of who he told that to.
What's your definition of a resource? Resource could be anything. It could be a good brother in your corner. It could be the next individual that does business. Resources doesn't necessarily have to be financial resources. You have resources of good-minded men that put something in you to do better.
Also, it's too about intelligence. The thing we talk about when we talk about financial literacy, that has nothing to do with money as much as it is knowing where to put your money, knowing how to use your money, knowing how to use things so that you can come up in this society. And if you weren't born into understanding that, it'll be a lot harder for you to accumulate wealth or generational wealth over time. There's certain things that the Black community, like annuities, shit like that. A lot of people don't know about that, but that's how, or life insurance policies, how a lot of white communities can continue to build generational wealth. Those are things that are not talked about in our communities. And it's not about finances as a whole as it is about knowing the information that you need to know or having the support system that you need to encourage you to do the right things. That's something that we're talking about as well, that I think Kurt is making an excellent point of, even if you don't have the finances alone. But also, again, I think we have to attest and believe in the fact that, again, if it's a sprint or a marathon or whatever, you need to know, or it's like almost taking a test and not knowing what's going to be on the test. There's a likely chance that you will fail if you don't have a study guide. And the thing that's the difference between our communities and other communities is having the study guide. If you have a study guide, then you can make something and probably pass a test and maybe with flying colors. But if you don't have that study guide or you don't have the access to understanding what even is going to be on the test, how could you pass that? And yeah, some people do, maybe because they're geniuses or because they have strong work ethic or whatever you want to attribute that to, or grit. But everybody is not going to pass the test if they don't have the proper resource to know what's going to be on it to begin with. And I think that's like what Kurt was saying, and I agree 100%.
You agree with everything Kurt say?
Me and Kurt think we on the same brain. You got the same.
Hey, all I know is we could just look at what it is. You got me, Will, Dre saying we didn't see it. We didn't even think about it. It never even entered our mind. And we've been self-employed since that thought entered our mind. We've been working for ourselves. Right?
That does not exist.
So I'm not gonna listen to the people that saying, "Oh, I see it. It's there." Whatever. Y'all keep seeing it. Y'all know it's there. Y'all keep doing that. That's fine. Oh, that's the point I wanted to cover. You said, if you overlook that people, okay, that's on you. I'm not gonna overlook the people. Yes, I'm gonna overlook them people. Everyone can't go. That's just what it is. I don't need people. I don't want a team of people saying, oh, there's a hurdle over there or there's a barrier. Oh, we might not be able to do this. I don't operate off of that. I never did. You know what I mean? So anybody like what they just was talking about, the HVAC school and all that, whatever. I'm willing to, I'm guaranteed I'll bet any amount of money on it. If I came over there talking about, nah, we probably not gonna be able to do that, them niggas gonna talk to themselves. They already talking to themselves, right? They already X me out anyway. But I'm willing to bet if anybody came into that circle talking to Will or Dre, talking about, man, we probably not gonna be able to do that because XYZ, man, ain't nobody trying to hear that, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to hear it. You know
Nobody's saying you can't do it, but me telling you, hey, you can't do it this way.
I got that part already, Nadia. And I'm saying I don't even want to hear that.
Right.
I got that part.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear that.
Agree with you.
Can you imagine being on the phone like, yo, man, I think I'm about to start this school. Nah, you probably not going to be able to do that because they got this thing.
I said this way. Listen. I said you're not going to be able to do it this way. This is what's happening here. Giving you the education so you can do it the appropriate way.
I don't want to hear that.
Well,
I understand
what
you're saying.
Ignorant to me.
And understand what I'm saying. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
There's a lot of
all I want to hear is
but
you can do it. You can do it. Yeah,
truth.
that's all I want to hear is that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, you should probably do that. Matter of fact, shit, put me down. I got some money. What you need? That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, God bless you. I think the only way, again, when I look at what's happened in the communities that affect me, the reason that they are starting to thrive now is because people advocated for something that they saw was an issue to begin with. And on top of that, that advocation led to changes. But you acting as if those changes don't need to be made isn't going to do anything. You're going to put it this way. You'll have people that thrive. Absolutely. But how much measure of success you'll have is going to be based off of making strides to make changes. And if you ain't making changes, then it's going to be the same thing over and over and over repeatedly.
I'm willing to bet your dad feel the same way.
Yeah, a lot of black men
your dad think the same way.
A lot of black men.
Not like how you think. I'm talking about me, Will, and Dre, how we think.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm willing to bet your dad think the same way me, Will, and Dre think.
I'm absolutely agreeing with you. I absolutely agree.
All right, so look, I know I'm right. Good night. I'm done. That's all I need to hear. I'm talking to the wrong person. Nadia, man, tell your dad come rock with Good Dad, Bad Son.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Nadia, tell your dad come rock with us one time, man.
Will, answer this question for me. Just because you don't see the systemic oppression, does that mean it does not exist?
No, he acknowledged that already. That don't
I've
mean
been
it's not
acknowledged
there. He
that.
just
That's
don't.
what
He
I'm
don't want to
saying.
hear it. He don't want the thought process. He don't want the negativity. He don't want that in the air. That's for y'all to worry about, and that's what he said.
No, that's not to worry about, but to be able to acknowledge that it's there and you have to find a way to overcome is the whole question.
Right.
You
He not
have to be
willing.
able
He
to
don't
be,
want to fight that. That battle is for
okay,
y'all as
an
soldiers.
example
He's
like
gonna
this.
go
Okay,
blaze a path for him and his
real,
kids
real,
and
real.
their
It's just
kids,
like this.
and y'all fight that blaze over there.
Real.
We got police officers. We got firefighters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got Will, we got BJ. He come to camp and his ass is halfway in shape, like he was when he came out on the handball court. You gotta tell him that okay, you can beat this dude. You just got to do this, that, and he don't want to hear that. He just think he can beat me, but he
He just want to do whatever he
That's
wants
all
to
I've
do.
been saying. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, he don't want to hear the information. But honestly, I love to see the thought process later on. I feel like I believe truly and attest to it will catch up with you. That systemic stuff that we talk about, me and Kurt be on, it'll catch up to you, and then you'll
No,
be
it
like,
won't.
well, okay. Well,
I
I
don't even
pray
want to
it
hear
don't.
that.
I pray it don't. I
I don't even
pray
want to
it
hear that.
don't
What are you
hit
talking
you.
about? It will catch up to me. What are you
I
talking about?
pray it don't hit you, Mr. BJ. But I will say this: I do think that that's all gonna come up at some point, and you're gonna wonder who's gonna be fighting for you. And I'm gonna have my hands tied. I'm gonna be like, you know what? I don't know. It don't exist. It don't exist. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what
I'm going back to the streets. Hell, you
hey,
talking about?
he's
going
starting a
right
whole
back to
new
jail.
If this don't work, I'm going back to the streets.
Hey, come on with it. I got a cookie line. Hey,
Nah, the white man ain't gonna let you sell no cookies. They ain't gonna let you sell no cookies. The white man ain't gonna let you sell no cookies.
if I get too big, they're like they
Flour
did
white, the
out
baking
dispensary.
soda white. We
Like
want
they
No,
no
did
sir.
out
white
dispensary.
cookies.
They sent
White
the
man ain't gonna
feds
let you
in there
do
to
that.
close. They sent the feds up in there to close our dispensary. We was open from 9 to 11 and always had a line. They said it's a nuisance.
Do your thing,
They
brother.
closed down.
Do your thing. Well, I appreciate y'all, man. That was good.
Nadia,
That was good.
I'm
That was
always
informative. That was
do
good
I
shit,
opinion.
man.
got you, brother.
Nah, not they always goddamn everything. Kurt don't even be talking about nothing.
We got 5 comments that I missed. I don't
I
want to get
100% agree with Kurt.
I don't
I
want to get
1000% agree
killed
with
in the
Kurt.
chat.
Yeah, that
Talk
sound
about
more
what I
like,
agree with
hey,
you.
don't that sound like hating? He hating.
He hate. He hate for sure.
Marie
One thing
said,
he
instead
gonna
of
do is hate.
excuses, how about
Hey, it's all
establishing and
good.
supporting
I
cultural arts
love that
centers and
boy like
creating
you saying.
resources for those unfortunate who need education and support?
That's-
Johnny says, great job, fellas. Johnny also says, great job,
Hey,
young sister.
Johnny's another one that owns his own security company joint,
I'm
man.
really proud. I'm really proud to see that.
It's amazing how many black brothers we got running their own businesses in our circle, in our community, Will.
It is. But there are also
Our
those brothers
community
that
gonna
got to
kick
pave
Nadia
the
and
way for
Kurt
you to
community
be
ass.
There are also brothers that had to pave the way because 40 years ago you couldn't own a daggone trucking company.
That's a lie.
What? During the Hoffa administration, when Hoffa was over the teachers, you wouldn't have been even driving.
Okay.
Dre said a hurdle don't exist if you never ran the race. I'm going to run and deal with it on my own way.
I don't know how to explain that. I would need more info to feel a certain way about that comment.
Like Chris Brown said, they be hating from outside the club. You can't even get in.
For
Who
real.
was that? Chris Brown? Oh, that's one of them light-skinned niggas, right?
Woo tells us we had a great show.
Them
I want to thank
light-skinned
everybody.
brothers that the BJ be talking about. He ain't even in the conversation. Did you let him in the room, Will?
I want to thank everybody that supported us tonight, man. Our great co-hosts, Nadia and Kurt, as usual. Usual suspects. Everybody in the chat keeping us accountable, and definitely our few callers that we had. You know, we had technical difficulties at first, but we figured it out eventually because that's what we do.
Noah had to work too. She said she'll be back, but Noah working on some cases. Noah's still working. She's still up working.
He had
She said she'll be back next time.
He worked it out. He just went and wiped his head off. He's back there sweating. What I heard.
Right.
Will was working.
So I want to post secondary school and in Athens, and right now I do everything I do is healthcare related: CNA, phlebotomy, medical assistance, medication aid.
That's
so
amazing.
Our good brother Dredd does HVAC. He said he tired of crawling around in them attics. So we're gonna train.
He about to put Eli in the attic tomorrow.
Eli probably be our first student. We're gonna certify them to help strengthen our community and get Dredd out the attic. Okay, and then. Anybody in the chat or anybody who supports us, if you got something going on, you got a certificate, a license, a expertise at something, we can sit down, put a curriculum together, offer it to the masses, and that's how we build from within.
Yeah.
We got some brothers that be hitting me in the back channel too. They want to get involved with some things too, with the podcast and stuff, and with the boys too.
Okay.
So,
that means I might have to pack up and move back to Atlanta.
No.
You can't come to the cookout.
No. You stay right where you at. Oh, you gotta go. You gotta go to Atlanta with Nadia. No.
Don't do him like that. Y'all so foul. It be your own.
I don't know.
I be talking about all the time.
Nah, Harry would have killed you, Kurt. Harry would have shot you out.
When I was in Atlanta, I was the king of Atlanta. Every time you had something going on, you had to come get me, right?
I did.
Thank you.
I'm the one that got the people. I got the people. I got my partners, the people. You know what I mean? I'm doing something. We about to get some money. Yo, come on, Kurt. We doing this. Come on, Cuz. We doing this. Come on, hey. We doing this. Let's get this bread.
When them niggas start to fall off, who you have? When them niggas start clowning, you was up in that little gangway with me every day, handballing, dropping thoughts. Let's do this. I'm gonna get ready to do that.
And you ain't never say nothing about no goddamn system barrier or oppression this. I don't know where this shit done came from. He ain't never say nothing about we couldn't do this. And that was illegal shit. That was illegal. Nadia, that was illegal stuff.
I was already past it by then. I'd already jumped over the hurdles.
It's hard. What are you not getting? Come on now.
We made it easier, man.
You never talked about it, BJ, because I had already jumped over them hurdles by the time I met you.
Period.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Love ya.
Bye, love y'all.
I'm going to work.
All right.
All right.
Good night. Good night, Nadia.
Good night, y'all. Y'all be safe.
Peace, Kurt.
All right. Peace out, my bro.